A non-ordinary young man, nothing remarkable about him, is suddenly pulled into the world of the superhero comic Stardust. There, Kim Dane makes a bold choice, to become a villain named Egostick, not just to challenge and elevate the powers of the heroine Stardust, but to proactively prevent the painful tragedies that occurred in the original story. His resolve burns fiercely, like a vow etched deep into his soul, to protect this world, and above all, to protect her. But fate always has a way of twisting things. Stardust, the heroine who once regarded him with suspicious eyes, now finds herself caught in a strange obsession with Egostick, the mysterious villain she has sworn to hunt down. One day, Kim Dane launches a daring plan called Villain Hunt. With knowledge from the original story, he knows these villains will soon become terrifying threats. To protect the city and Stardust, he decides to strike first, eliminating them before they can sow chaos. Accompanying him is Seo-eun, a genius with superhuman intellect, who assists through a wireless earpiece. His voice rings out, cold but precise. Target is in sight. He is motionless on the sofa. The perfect moment has arrived. Kim Dane grips his weapon tightly, his palms slightly sweaty. His first ability, teleportation, is activated. In the blink of an eye, the cold barrel of the gun is pressed against the forehead of Rhino, an A-rank villain. His second ability, telekinesis, erupts. Like a lord of darkness, Kim Dane speaks in a low, resonant voice, his greeting from the realm of death echoing. "Welcome to hell." Less than a second later, before Rhino can react, he ends him without hesitation. Afterward, Kim Dane coldly picks up the stack of papers the villain was holding. As expected, it is a detailed terrorist plan, ready to plunge the city into a sea of blood. In the original story, Rhino would have become an S-rank villain, wearing a rhinoceros mask and claiming hundreds of lives. But now, thanks to Kim Dane, that future has been erased. Seo-eun speaks again through the earpiece. Police and heroes are incoming. Before leaving, Kim Dane leaves a message written in blood on the doorframe, a direct challenge to Stardust. When the police and heroes arrive, they quickly realize the perpetrator of this incident and the previous one is the same person. That message, like a taunt, sends Stardust into a boiling rage. The media begins reporting feverishly. In the comments sections, the public buzzes with excitement, many unexpectedly supporting Kim Dane's actions. They criticize the hero's sluggishness, hailing Egostick as a dispenser of justice in the shadows. In a small room, Kim Dane reads those comments, his heart filled with conflict. He tugs at his hair, his mind in turmoil. Seo-eun, sitting nearby, glances at him due to the noisy disturbance. The flame of determination in Kim Dane burns more fiercely than ever. He cannot let things spiral like this. If it continues, his image will be celebrated, while Stardust, the true hero, will be turned against by public opinion. To protect her, he must become an absolute villain, a shadow dark enough to terrify the entire world. From this moment, Egostick is officially born. He prepares a timed bomb, hidden inside a backpack. At a crowded public square, people are engrossed in watching the large screens, awaiting a dazzling spectacle. At that exact moment, Kim Dane, under the guise of Egostick, hacks into the system, seizing control of every electronic screen in the city. His face, concealed behind a mask, appears in a live video broadcast, his deep voice ringing with authority. "I am the one who eliminated Rhino and Endozic, two A-rank villains." He arrogantly points toward Tower 127, then gestures with his other hand toward the observation deck of Building 61. The crowds inside those buildings, along with millions watching through screens, fall deathly silent as he declares, "I have planted bombs in both buildings." Fear spreads like a tsunami. Some panic and search for exits, others stand frozen, unable to believe their eyes. Before hundreds of cameras, Kim Dane flashes a defiant smile and calls out Stardust's name. "I await you, hero." Without making him wait long, Stardust appears, swift as a whirlwind, landing with a force that shakes the ground. Kim Dane double-checks everything, cape, mask, all perfect. But his hands tremble. This is the first time he is facing the character he admires most from the story directly. Stardust, radiant like a goddess, is so beautiful that his heart skips a beat. "Wow," he blurts out, unable to contain his admiration. In that moment, time seems to stand still. Memories flood back the first day he was pulled into this world, his body covered in wounds, standing on the brink of life and death. He once longed to return to his old world, until the glow of the screen illuminated Stardust's face. That moment changed everything. If he became a hero, he could stand by her side. But Kim Dane, who has memorized every line of the story, knows that even a hero would not be enough to shield her from the destined tragedies. That is why he chose the path of a villain, not to destroy, but to become an unbreakable fortress, protecting Stardust from all dangers. Going back to when our protagonist Kim Dane was just 15 years old, the maniacal, gut-busting laughter of the villain being broadcast on TV would not stop. Ha 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 ha, the guy's face was pure glee, laughing like a madman. Ha 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 ha. Back then, he really could not understand it. Was Jackie actually insane? Even for a villain, this concept was way over the top. Now that he understood the mindset of a villain, he confidently unleashed a terrifying laugh of his own. Ha 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 ha, regardless of the hero in front of him glaring with furious eyes, ready to pulverize him at any moment. The world seemed to freeze. Even the restless crowd below fell silent. It felt as if only a hero and a villain remained atop the skyscraper. Rewinding a few minutes before the two officially faced off, Kim Dane pointed at Stardust with smug arrogance. I know exactly what you are thinking right now. Even my subordinate controlling the broadcast has a detonation switch, so do not even consider overpowering me with brute force. The hero's footsteps faltered at those words. He spread his arms wide, a fleet of drones hovering behind him. This stage was crafted exclusively for you, Stardust. What do you think? Her response was a scowl. You lunatic. Release the innocents right now, we will trade a few blows, then you get arrested, that is it. Kim Dane kept his leisurely smile, leaning forward and raising a hand toward the camera. Of course, we will release them. That is the word of the justice hero Stardust. Focus, everyone, look at me now. I am about to unlock the elevator, a hack on the observation deck. He snapped his fingers with a crisp tack. A loud clang echoed from the elevators in both buildings. Stardust's brows furrowed slightly. She knew these villains all too well. This would not end so easily. The civilians inside the buildings really rushed toward the now working elevators. Hurry, hurry, a voice stopped them cold. Hold on, this is still part of Kim Dane's plan. If we release them now, where's the fun? He excitedly told them. Just press the button, the descent button is lit up. His tone sang out. See. From now until detonation, there are 30 minutes left. He grew ecstatic. Before that, go ahead and press it quickly to descend. Kim Dane became a demon, tempting the psychologically weak crowd. Come on, they are total strangers anyway, right? The giant screens showed chaos inside the buildings, children wailing, voices arguing in a jumble. Stardust gnashed her teeth and cursed, you bastard. Kim Dane acted as if he did not care about her mood. Today, right here, I will show everyone the depths of human selfishness. This is Egoistic's game. The people inside were already in total pandemonium. If the other side presses first, we die horribly, but we have to live, right? Time's up and it explodes. He said 30 minutes earlier. No, does that mean you would kill the people over there with one button press? Ooh-wah. They were all anxious, uneasy, and suspicious. Will the other side press? There is no time to think like this. The bombs explode in a few dozen minutes. So what now? They will press. Ah, the scene was pure chaos. Some could not even sit still. Damn it, what is the hero doing right now? Stardust stood there, unable to act rashly. Even if she rushed and took him down in an instant, if there were detonation devices elsewhere, it would be useless. Damn it. If this continued, the hostages would. Her eyes turned ice cold, her voice growling. Is toying with people's lives fun for you? Facing her, Kim Dane still smiled leisurely with narrowed eyes. Ha ha, the fun is not there. Stardust, one of Korea's few rank heroes, who believes in justice and her own convictions, never compromising with evil. Actually, I quite respect you, Stardust. Those words made her furious, her face flushing. What nonsense are you spouting? He proudly rubbed his nose with glee. I just wanted to compliment you while the whole nation watches you on live TV. Kim Dane's voice rose again, drawing attention. Seeing you helpless, unable to do anything, while the madman fiddles with the bomb button, it is truly fascinating. His figure blurred and vanished. I am even giving you a chance to join the game. Now I will connect you to the people anxiously awaiting their hero. Stardust's face showed confusion and wariness as she stared at him. What? Kim Dane continued his performance. If you successfully convince them and no one presses the button in 30 minutes. He crossed his legs, flashing an evil grin. The bombs won't explode. Stardust naturally did not believe it. You expect me to trust a bastard like you, not only unafraid. He provoked her further. Better than letting them stare helplessly at the sky, right? She clenched her fists in frustration at her side. Kim Dane did not need her opinion. He waved his hand dramatically. Here we go. A loud shout rang out ready and all the cameras swarmed around her. 3, 2, 1, after the 3 count ended, a dramatic scene began. The hero's face appeared on the massive LED screens atop the buildings. The citizens immediately recognized her. Stardust, Stardust. She took a deep breath under the invisible pressure, looking straight into the camera as if meeting their eyes. Hello everyone, I am a rank hero Stardust. Each of us holds our own beliefs in our hearts. The handsome man's face went blank. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. A half-real, half-dream world. I will be etched in the public eye as the terrorist villain. My dream becomes reality, and she will shine. This is your stage, Stardust. Her radiant figure so that later, people could take pride in today's choice. Show this villain. Her voice flowed like warmth into everyone's hearts. We are strong. Their eyes gradually steadied. Our faith does not waver. We will never submit to evil. Thank you, everyone. Kim Dane curled his lips in a mysterious smile. The countdown on the screen showed only 5 left. The trapped people hugged each other tightly, praying. Stardust's face filled with worry toward the screen. The moment the numbers hit 0, everyone closed their eyes, bracing for impact. Tension and anxiety gripped them all. Would punishment strike, or had the villain told the truth? That was the moment Kim Dane took the stage. Right then, all the cameras plummeted as his unbelievable shout echoed. Impossible. These selfish humans. The cameras caught his bewildered and pained expression. So they did not rush to save themselves. Impossible. Impossible. At least one person should have pressed the button. There must be someone selfish like me who pressed it. Kim Dane clutched his head, muttering in deep acting. Humans can't be this kind. Why? At that moment, Stardust spoke. Egoistic, humans are not as selfish as you think. Her image appeared, radiating brilliant light. No one is completely selfless, but I believe in human goodness. Kim Dane, it is thanks to you, Stardust, you united them. His expression suddenly shifted. He chuckled. Interesting, is not it, Stardust? Before Stardust could charge, he bowed politely. The next game, for sure. Kim Dane gave her one last look. Wow, Stardust's resolute blue eyes filled him with awe, eyes brimming with justice. Finally, he vanished with a declaration, I will win. The entire crowd erupted in joyous emotion. They burst into tears, happily embracing and celebrating the hero's victory. All chanted one name in unison, Stardust, Stardust, yet the hero stood silently in the open space. Kim Dane had already teleported away. The moment he landed elsewhere, he collapsed weakly. That was exhausting, he groaned. Oh God, I am dying. This is the aftermath of teleportation, the deadly side effect of instant teleportation. Bodily damage scales with distance. The heavier the toll, the harder it is to even crawl. I will probably be bedridden for days. A girl exclaimed. I told you not to switch that hood, Oppa. The white-haired girl looked at him with disdain. It looks awful. Kim Dane wheezed a plea. Sio, I am really dying here. Get me some water. The girl dusted off her rear and left mercilessly. Get it yourself. Leaving him frozen in place. The giant LED screen flashed breaking news of the building terror incident, 0 casualties. Stardust hovered in mid-air. She gritted her teeth with hatred. Toying with people's hearts, next time, I will definitely catch you. She would remember this name forever until she grabbed him egoistic. One early morning at the Korean Heroes Association, the organization for individuals with superhuman abilities, countless tabloid headlines flooded the massive screen. These were the latest news titles. Who is the broadcast hijacker watched by the entire nation? The one who directly called out hero Stardust. Let us review his actions. Egoistic, an erranked villain. Who is he? Hot topic. 0 casualties from terrorism. The reality spreading across the peninsula, hijacking broadcasts overseas. Is Korean TV security really okay like this? The meeting host flipped to the next slide. Next came the analysis dossier on egoistic. Villain profile. along with some details about Kim Dane operating as the villain. Egoistic, male, wears a mask, has a function to impair facial recognition and predicted residence tracking. A balding, pot-bellied middle-aged man spoke up. All right, let us begin the briefing. This was Park Jun-ho, chairman of the Korean Heroes Association. Images of locked room murders flashed on screen. He looked utterly fed up. Okay, we have seen this part too many times, skip ahead. Yes, sir. The host continued, I will now explain yesterday's incident in detail. First, it appears the perpetrator used instant teleportation to pre-attach bombs to the building exteriors. After defusal, they were confirmed as high-power homemade explosives capable of obliterating entire observation decks. High-efficiency homemade bombs. Conclusion: likely self-manufactured by him. Park Jun-ho rubbed his shiny bald head in frustration. Still no leads on the broadcast hijacking, the secretary responded awkwardly. Yes, sir. How he bypassed modern security systems to broadcast remains a mystery. They did have some specific analyses. However, since no one with wave manipulation abilities had ever appeared before, they believed the most likely scenario was a highly skilled tech accomplice backing him. That was the extent of their current speculation. An accomplice, high chance that person is also the bomb maker. The secretary's expression grew grave. There is one more thing I would like to add. He seems deeply obsessed with Stardust. All eyes instantly turned to the blonde woman. From scattered clues, it was certain he left messages targeting her at the murder scenes addressed to Stardust. And in this incident, it was confirmed he directly referenced her through the villain's words handled by a rank hero Son-woo Stardust. Upon hearing this, Park Jun-ho directly asked the person in question, "You met him face to face, how did it feel?" He pointed straight at her. Stardust stood slightly and gave her assessment. He is a psychopath who enjoys toying with people's hearts. Moreover, he can orchestrate large-scale terrorist attacks. He is a genuinely dangerous villain. 2 days after the previous terror incident, in Kim Dane's room, he lay bedridden, groaning, "Oh God, I am dying." He forced himself up, stumbled to the kitchen for something to eat. Just as he chugged orange juice, a sudden voice rang out. "Oppa, doing it again." Kim Dane startled and spat out the juice, frantically explaining, "And no, it is not like that, Seo-eun. I am not like that." Now introducing this girl, Han Seo-eun, possessor of superhuman intellect. At first, he was not used to her calling him Hung, a genius hacker. In the original story, she would grow up to become an S-rank villain, a master hacker. Well, that was in the original. Now, he had kept her by his side. She was fuming. "This is my house. Don't act like it is yours." Because in reality, they were in Han Seo-eun's underground base. He laughed it off lightly. "Ha ha. Anyway, I am the one paying for living expenses and everything." Han Seo-eun cut him off. "TCH, shut up and drink already." "Got it." Kim Dane smiled softly at the adorable threat. He gently patted her head. "All right, got it." The warm moment did not last long before she shyly pulled him and the juice bottle away. "Ah, something else came up. Hurry." The door to the high-tech control room slid open and closed. Han Seo-eun sat before the advanced control screen. "Remember the girl Lee Subin I mentioned before? She is a candidate to be our assistant." Kim Dane did not need to think. "Ah, the deep web operator, I think she is your fan." The girl made a few inputs and pointed at the screen. "Look, she is right here." The news anchor's voice rang out. "Egoistic fanatics are carrying out a hostage-taking terror attack in central Incheon. They have planted bombs inside the building." He froze, leaning closer to the screen. "What the hell, these lunatics, wait, is that girl being held hostage here?" Han Seo-eun pointed at the trembling gun wielder. "No, it is the masked girl." The anchor reported the situation. The egoistic fanatics declared no negotiations, only seeking terror unto death. Police confirmed at least 3 dead so far, with around 300 hostages still trapped inside. His voice cracked. "Seo-eun, what is our rule?" She clearly remembered his instruction, never harm civilians under any circumstances. His eyes flashed dangerously. "We have got to clean up these idiots." "Help me, Seo-eun," she nodded firmly. He was already thinking about how to handle the other person and the girl. He would assess the scene and decide. At the copycat terror site, Stardust stood before the blazing building. She bit her lip, stood silently for a long while, then spoke into her comms. HQ, requesting permission to breach, but the other side won't allow it. Awaiting orders after police complete final negotiations, authorize entry with kill on site if necessary. This incident only fueled her hatred for him all because of that bastard. Previous terror attacks were mostly the domain of super-powered villains. This performance, whether big or small, had shaken the villain world, but this time, he did not center superpowers, instead using explosives and hostages to pressure heroes. Clearly, his image of corneringness had inspired ordinary people. She seethed with anger. Copycat crimes were already happening the very next day. Suddenly, the comms buzzed. Stardust, at the scene. Egoistic is live streaming the interior on YouTube. Check immediately. She was stunned. Stardust pulled out her phone. Sure enough, the villain who toyed with death was back. Viewers flooded in rapidly. What is this? A villain live streaming a terror scene. World's #1 villain chat full of lunatics. This is a crime scene. As long as it is not me. Release Kim Son-woo. Release Kim Son-woo wears moderation, hijacking broadcast again. The feed showed Egoistic inside the building, facing a group dressed exactly like him. They aimed guns and shouted, "Who is there?" They quickly recognized him and cheered. Our hero Egoistic has descended. Egoistic, not knowing what they were expecting. He is here, he is really here. He will slaughter these idiots live. Kim Dane's expression was not pleased with them. God, I teleported long distance again because of these morons, my body's wrecked. Damn it. The terrorists looked confused. Egoistic, suddenly, a sky-shaking laugh. Ha ha, this is fun. Ha ha ha, they did not understand but laughed awkwardly. Ha ha. At that moment, Han Seo-eun reported, 3 of the clock position guy by the pillar holding the detonator. He glanced, confirmed, and instantly, the man met his end body mercilessly turned into a donut shape. The terrorists screamed in shock. No, this is not Egoistic, must be undercover police. They quickly aimed guns at him, but before triggers were pulled, the weapons flew from their hands. Then, barrels pointed straight at each of their faces. Kim Dane smirked, raising a hand to use his power. I have never had subordinates as stupid as you. Countless gunshots rang out. The building filled with smoke. Screams of pain from the shot terrorists mixed into the live stream. Comments panicked while rational voices spoke up. Wait, same side, why wipe them all? Just killing everyone satisfying as hell. Who is Egoistic to be this brutal? Those lunatics, people are dead. What are the heroes doing? Villains stepping in. Ha ha ha, what happens to the people there? Who, is the psycho killing everyone? No, just Egoistic's back profile is hot. So many crazies here. This is real, people. At that moment, HQ finally authorized Stardust to enter. Top priority, secure hostages before the terrorists and Egoistic. She did not hesitate, rushing in to confirm only one person remained unshotted, the very one he was looking for. Han Seo-eun's voice came through, Oppa, save her. I confirmed she was dragged out and forced by the fanatics. She is not part of the terrorism. The girl cowered in a corner, hugging her head and sobbing. Help, hic. Kim Dane's hand startled her into a hiccup. Hic. He ripped off her mask. His voice rang out, did you do anything wrong, yes or no? Lee Subin teared up, choking out, okay, I admit it. Hic, she cried louder. Okay, I admit it. Ooh-ah. Kim Dane had no such patience. Keep crying and you eat a bullet. Lee Subin immediately went silent, clamping her mouth shut. He turned to the hostage civilians and solemnly bowed. I am sorry. Though I did not cause this, I feel deeply responsible for the copycat actions stemming from my case. The chat exploded. What? The villain apologizing. Hold on, what is happening? He sincerely added, to all hostages and those affected by me, I will transfer compensation to your accounts. Please check. My deepest apologies to the 3 victims who lost their lives. I will pay the highest possible compensation. Still, Kim Dane hesitated internally over the flaw. Oh God, transferring from dummy accounts is too traceable. Seo-eun will handle it, right? Han Seo-eun sighed and urged, Oppa, bring her back already. She clearly agreed to do it. Poor thing. Kim Dane hoisted Lee Subin over his shoulder. Hic. His body instantly felt like it was crumbling. Teleportation side effects, my whole body's shaking. Suddenly, a massive shockwave hit the entire floor. Kim Dane immediately recognized only Stardust could do that. She was charging in, not yet fully grasping the situation. A few more chaotic days passed at Jeon High University, at a cafe called Choo Choo. KPS News reported, villain takes responsibility with monetary compensation. The public was in uproar. Villain Ghostic bowed at the terror attack site. Verifying hostage accounts is not easy. What kind of person is he? KPS in-depth investigation. A blonde girl sat alone at a table, eyes glued to her phone screen. Her fingers scrolled through comments. Everyone was talking. Who is Mangastic now? Mang Ghostic sounds legendary. Does Mang Ghostic only save women? She abruptly changed her charging direction. Luckily, Kim Dane's legs were jelly at that moment, allowing him to dodge just in time. Stardust was far too frantic to react properly. Oh God. And just like that, she let the villain she needed to catch slip away. Thinking back made her even more bitter. Shin Haru sighed in frustration. Right then, another girl approached and pulled out a chair. She gently, caringly asked, Shin Haru, what is wrong? Is the assignment too hard? Kim Chae-yun, Haru's senior, snapped her out of it. She looked up. No, it is nothing, Ani. She awkwardly turned back to her studies. I am fine, just spacing out a bit. Stardust, Korea's a rank hero, real name Shin Haru. As a hero, she concealed her identity with a perception-dampening filter. So everyone thought she was just an ordinary student named Shin Haru. Well, maybe not completely ordinary. Every man's gaze was drawn to her. Lately, though, she was worried about one thing, Haru constantly muttering the name Ghostic. She circled that hated name, thinking how selfish people are. A huge question loomed in her mind, but why did he save the hostages? Suddenly, the person in front of her pinched her cheek. Look at you, making that sad face again. Kim Chae-yun cheerfully suggested. Forget the homework, let us go get mango bingsu, Haru's favorite. Haru's face instantly lit up. Mango, but right away. Ghostic's maniacal face and perverted laugh flashed in her mind. Ha ha ha, Haru blinked. Her expression darkened. Kim Chae-yun, closely observing her reactions, noticed immediately. Even mango won't fix it, no way. She heard Haru snap her pen, muttering, mango is mine. Chae-yun cooed at her like a child. Okay, mango's all yours, all yours. Fury burned in Haru like hellfire. I am obsessed with that Mang Ghostic. I will definitely make him show his face. Despite the anger, she still ate the mango ice adorably. In the heart of Seoul, where villains and heroes haunt each other, stood an utterly ordinary-looking house. But when the front door opened, another door appeared beside the entrance. Opening the second door revealed surprisingly an elevator. After entering and inputting the code, the doors closed and it began descending. Dozens of floors underground lay Ghostic's base. Kim Dane proudly lay inside a glass chamber, nicknamed Ego Base. Han Seo-eun looked annoyed. Oppa, why did you name someone else's house without permission? He reasoned as if it were obvious. Why? Well, there is no, your house, or, my house, between us. Right, your house is my house. And my house is yours. She pouted in disdain but did not deny it. What, that is ridiculous. Suddenly, his knees refused to let him relax. Pain shot through, making him thrash and scream. Uwa, Seo-eun scolded irritably. Stop talking nonsense, lie still so you heal faster, do not make a scene. Kim Dane whined, don't say that I teleported long distance and carried someone, so I am twice as exhausted. Suddenly, he grinned slyly. Han Seo-eun, super intellect ability. He was definitely eyeing the girl on the sofa hungrily. TCH, how far did you read? His face was smug. Though recruiting her was not for this, the fatigue recovery capsules were truly the best. Seo-eun looked at him, casually flashing the thumbs up with a weird expression. What? The door suddenly opened. The girl he risked his life to save entered. I am back. Fridge was empty, so. Lee Subin shyly asked, anyone want snacks? Kim Dane jolted and yelled. Wait, you are wanted by the police, she cheerfully explained. I covered my face completely before going out. He was stunned, panicking. That is even more suspicious, but Seo-eun put down her book and obediently ran to Melina. Seeing this, Kim Dane had a strange suspicion. Did she make me fetch an errand girl? He instantly teleported in front of her. Why did you have me bring this? Person, the girl unwrapped the ice cream she received and answered calmly, I just need her help with something. Kim Dane freaked out. What? He whispered frantically, that is something to consider before someone commits terrorism. He opposed bringing a terrorist home. Seo-eun, can you guarantee she won't start shooting inside? She sighed and denied it. That won't happen. She firmly affirmed, and this person never intended to join the terrorism. She was dragged out and forced by your so-called subordinates, practically coerced. Then she pointed straight at the girl. Unnie, no Oppa no, Unnie it is Lee Subin, right, the girl startled. Huh, how do you know my name? Seo-eun's expression said obviously. I know everything. Sister Lee Subin. The girl even knew her family registry. Your parents are researchers at Han Seo-eun Corporation, right? Her face paled. How do you know? Seo-eun casually recounted. I read your posts on the deep web. Those shielding programs had tons of holes. Unnie, do you want revenge? She stepped closer to Lee Subin. Han Seo-eun Corporation, do you want to get back at them for what they did to your parents? I am looking for the heads of that corporation. I have been hurt a lot too. She clearly extended the invitation. We have to find those bastards and crush them before I can feel at peace. Unnie, will you help me? In a flash, Kim Dane understood Seo-eun's motive. So that is it. This girl was also a victim of Han Seo-eun, just like Seo-eun. When he wanted Seo-eun as his first assistant, he convinced her by promising to help her get revenge. Of course, his goal was to prevent her from becoming an S-rank villain later. But this Lee Subin, he had no impression of her from the original story, so probably just a side character. That might prove she is harmless, but he would see if she could actually help. Suddenly, he snapped awake seeing the two girls hugging and crying. Kim Dane stood dumbfounded amid their sobbing. Hoo, Unnie, hick. Seo-eun, this development is too fast. I am the only one who can't keep up emotionally. Seo-eun, your cool image is shattered. He silently watched the emotional scene for a while, then quietly returned to the chamber. Fine, I will just lie here. That night, at a cozy restaurant, everyone was worried about a young couple. The place was quiet except for the wife's sobs. Hick. Tears streamed endlessly down her cheeks. Her voice was desperate for an answer. Why, Hick, are you doing this to me? Yet the man across from her glared darkly, ruining her appetite. I am confessing my love, and you are making that sad face. The incident prompted someone to call the police. A cold-faced officer approached their table. Report of assault. Come with me to the station. The man grumbled and cursed. Damn it, let me eat a little, get lost. The officer had no patience, placing a hand on his shoulder. Fine, consider yourself under full arrest. The man's body flashed red light. Suddenly, the officer was teleported to the edge of a building's rooftop railing. The man's perverted voice echoed behind him. Shall we go to the station together? He arrogantly kicked. Sure, but let me send you first. The officer, caught off guard, fell from the high rise. The man smiled coldly. Who do you think you are, talking back to me? Fake cop. This is a rank villain, Kim Ha-chun, master of spatial teleportation. The world appeared in ruins. A scream echoed. You think killing me will change this world? Han Seo-eun, the White Witch, an S-rank villain with a completely different appearance from now. Stardust could not see the hero's expression. A voice cut through the flashback. Oppa, snap back to reality. Han Seo-eun, 16 years old and a big fan of orange juice, shouted. You drank all my orange juice again, did not you? Lee Subin, washing dishes, awkwardly spoke up. Seo-eun, sorry, that was me. I will buy you more. Seo-eun, who had been glaring at her brother, ran over and hugged her. The girl flipped her mood like a switch, beaming brightly. It is okay, Unnie. Kim Dane, witnessing this, grimaced in disdain. She treats me differently. He suddenly asked, by the way, Seo-eun, you finally dropped the boy disguise. The girl immediately yelled in anger. Oppa, Kim Dane seized the chance. Ha. Life for the three flowed happily and peacefully. Recapping the tragedy mentioned in the original story, Han Seo-eun, with superhuman intellect. She was the sole survivor of the Blossom Project conducted by Han Seo-eun Corporation. Hundreds of children were subjected to illegal experiments. One day, an unforeseen complication occurred in one child. Everyone involved died except Seo-eun. The entire facility collapsed. Afterward, with a body full of injuries, she escaped the lab, hid in an underground bunker, and built her current hideout. She lived in solitude for years until he found her. Kim Dane's sudden appearance came when she was finally at peace. A chair crashed loudly to the floor. Seo-eun bristled like a hedgehog, on high alert. Kim Dane calmly made his offer. "Don't you want revenge on them? I need your help too, Seo-eun." Facing her fearful gaze, he extended a friendly hand. "I am not here to hurt you." And that was the beginning leading to the present. He came to save her. Unlike the original story, where hatred turned Seo-eun into an S-rank villain who died tragically. So pitiful. He vowed she would never walk the villain path again. Though he had a slight doubt. Now that she is my accomplice, does that make her a villain? Anyway, let us stay on the right path. Feeling his intense stare, Seo-eun turned and snapped. "What are you staring at? You would not understand anyway." Kim Dane's eyes shifted to the other person. As for Subin, both parents were researchers, but they passed away. She self-studied and got into a prestigious university. He knew this girl's background well. Computer engineering major, so she would likely assist Seo-eun with technical support later. He casually sipped his water. Even though she was a character he never knew and seemed a bit suspicious, her cooking skills were undeniably top tier. Suddenly, Seo-eun held up a tiny spider. "Here, done external positioning sensor." Kim Dane's face went blank. "Why do I need a tracker?" The girl clicked her tongue in annoyance. TCH, forgot our job already." She pointed at the screen. "It is for the guy on your villain hit list." He was stunned, full of surprise. The instant teleporter is him. Kim Dane knew his abilities well: unlimited short-range teleportation with zero backlash. Impossible to block with telekinesis, extremely troublesome. The girl grinned excitedly. "The tougher the opponent, the sooner we take them out." He rubbed his head in pain. "Do you know how exhausting constant teleportation is for me?" Seo-eun cheered him on. "Get to work, egoistic." They quickly set out. The destination was a small apartment in a remote area. Kim Dane sneaked onto the rooftop, nervous. "Seo-eun, can I go in now?" she urged. "What, you are not in yet? Hurry." Still, he was anxious and tense. Is teleporting straight into the living room really okay? What if he is there? Seo-eun sighed, repeating herself. "I have told you 100 times, shoot the bullet with the tracker. Even if he dodges via teleport, he will still get tagged." Kim Dane looked at the gleaming gun. "What? Why?" The girl was starting to get mad. "Because I made it faster than a bullet. You are a liberal arts guy, you would not understand even if I explained. Just go in." Still, he hesitated. Wouldn't killing him on the street be faster? Seo-eun wanted to flip the table at her brother's personality. From the start, he never goes outside, he only teleports. "I investigated and planned this already." God, so impatient. The girl was fuming, chugging a bottle of water. Lee Subin, on the side, nervously cheered. "Egoistic, fighting." Hearing that, the girl shyly echoed, "Yeah, egoistic, fighting." Kim Dane felt empowered. "All right, thanks. Let us do this." He suddenly teleported into the criminal's house right as the man stepped out of the shower. The guy jolted at his appearance. HNGH, immediately, Seo-eun yelled, "Oppa, shoot." He raised the gun and pulled the trigger. Miraculously, 2 tiny spiders shot out at unimaginable speed. But, as expected, Hak Chol vanished instantly. Kim Dane threw the gun down. "Damn it." Seo-eun did the tracker stick. On Seo-eun's side, she had full intel. "Got it, Subin Unni, report position." She quickly located him. He is 500 meters east. He did not overthink, following orders. Okay. Suddenly, he appeared in the middle of the street. "Huh, who is that? What is going on?" People around immediately recognized him. "Oppa, is not that egoistic? Wait, it is him." He frowned, scanning the area. Damn, this was not in the plan. His presence instantly went viral on social media. At Jeon High University lecture hall, Shin Haru was focused on her studies, unaware of the chaos. Suddenly, a voice over her comms announced, "Egoistic has appeared in the city, superhero Stardust, prepared to deploy per association orders." She jumped up in panic, shouting, "What?" Everyone in class turned to look. Ah, sorry everyone. Haru hurriedly packed her things and left. Excuse me, she rushed off. What is he up to this time? Egoistic, Seo-eun double-checked the tracker. Oppa, over there at the intersection ahead, Kim Dane quickly spotted Hak Chul staggering away. Did he get hit? Just then, the light turned red. He recklessly jumped out to block the man's path. Screw it, just go. Seo-eun's panicked voice rang in his ear. Oppa Dane. His haste to catch the A-ranked criminal made him ignore the road. A truck barreled toward him at breakneck speed. Would he react in time and survive? While fleeing, Kim Hak Chul suddenly recalled that fateful day. Hey, Kim Hak Chul, you had a blast stealing our money and running, did not you? Back then, Hak Chul was helpless and frail, only able to whimper and beg. I will pay it back, please spare me. Feeling it was not sincere enough, he switched to yelling desperately, I will pay it back. Those words irritated the leader beyond endurance. He stubbed his cigarette straight into the rope binding Hak Chul. I do not need it anymore. Witnessing this, Hak Chul struggled even harder. No, do not, I was wrong. Please spare me just this once. No matter how much he pleaded, the rope was already burning, and he plummeted toward the sea. At that point, there was nothing left to cling to. Hak Chul cursed outright, you bastards, you filthy scum, as his face neared the water. He screamed with all his rage, I curse you all to die. In that exact moment, Kim Hak Chul suddenly vanished. And just as the gang prepared to leave, he reappeared nearby out of nowhere. The bizarre phenomenon turned their faces purple with fear. What the? As for Hak Chul, seeing himself unharmed, he was utterly bewildered. What? Once they calmed down, the gang rushed toward him. Grab him. In no time, Hak Chul was surrounded. He had not moved an inch. After standing frozen for a while, he clenched his fists, heart brimming with glee. So now, no one in the world can catch me. With that thought, he vanished instantly, causing both sides to crash into each other, then bolted away. Back to the present, the truck driver slammed the brakes upon spotting someone, but Kim Dane had already disappeared, materializing inside the cab and scaring the driver half to death. Seeing him unscathed, Hak Chul fumed. Son of a bitch, sensing trouble, he turned and fled. I timed it perfectly. How did he dodge? Damn it. As Kim Dane stepped out of the truck, Hak Chul teleported to a nearby rooftop. Carefully surveying the situation, he gnashed his teeth in fury. It really is egoistic. Could it be he did not kill those two villains over personal grudges? The more he thought, the harder it was to swallow his anger. I have nothing to do with him. Down below, after exiting the truck, Egoistic was swarmed by a crowd of civilians. Yes, I am busy working, so I can't chat much. Oh God, hey, do not be scared, I won't hurt you all. Now, off to hell with you. A ranked teleporter villain. Those words sparked a wild idea in Hak Chul's mind. Could he be a specialist who hunts down and eliminates villains? Snapping out of his thoughts, Egoistic suddenly appeared. From then on, wherever Hak Chul went, he followed. Trash belongs in the bin. Garbage villains must be erased from the world. Come on, over here. One piece of trash today, I am cleaning up big time. Stalked relentlessly, Hak Chul went mad, grabbing a nearby civilian. Why do I still hear that guy's voice in my ear? He immediately hurled the person behind him and ran. The girl had not even hit the ground before Egoistic caught her with an outstretched hand. Whoa, while she was still dazed, he gently asked, you okay, miss? The tenderness made her blush. Why, yes. After continuous short-range teleports, Kim Hak Chul had burned through most of his stamina and could no longer hold out. He officially collapsed. Why me? After letting the girl recover, Egoistic turned his attention to his original target, the A-rank villain, the instant teleporter. Without a word, he drew a handgun and pressed it to the man's head. You have already confessed your crimes. Suddenly scolded like that, the unconscious Hak Chul still retorted. Egoistic smirked and countered. Motherfucker, you are a villain too. Yeah, but at least I am not as cowardly as you. With that, he turned and shouted to the gawking crowd. Everyone, this trash has stolen tens of billions in assets and murdered 4 innocent people. Those people were someone's husband, father, friend, or son. Do you want to spare this cold-blooded killer? Asked directly, the onlookers answered without hesitation. Finish him, that is right, finish him, kill him, kill him. Hearing this, Hak Chul thrashed wildly. You dogs, if you call for his death, How are you any different from me? Egoistic smiled faintly, fully satisfied with the response. Hak Chul, your biggest crime is becoming an A-rank villain in the future. Slaughtering hundreds and tormenting Stardust countless times. Snapping out of his thoughts, he flipped his expression and growled threateningly. You think those two things are the same, sorry, but you are dying here. Right after that moment, a pained scream rang out. Egoistic cautiously scanned the area. What met his eyes was the jubilant glee of the civilians. Their reaction left him stunned. What? They just watched a man get shot dead, should not they be screaming in terror? Done with the job, he stood up bewildered, observing the crowd's joyful faces. This world, aside from superpowers, is not much different from my old one. But moments like this really drive home that I am in a different world. People here are truly incomprehensible. After mulling it over, Egoistic set the thought aside, removed his hood, and greeted them. But I am a villain, are not you scared? Seeing his face, the crowd grew a bit wary. Right then, a familiar voice rang out. Egoistic knew the owner all too well. He quickly looked up at the sky. Stardust, damn, I drew too much attention. Stardust landed swiftly, pointing straight at him and cursing. You bastard. Egoistic paid no mind, simply admiring the newcomer. Normally, she was just a slightly aloof college student, but as a hero, her speech turned archaic and dramatic. Thinking this, simple mode activated, she was adorably cute. However, Stardust misinterpreted his gaze. What have you done? No matter how smitten, Egoistic maintained his villain facade perfectly. Done what? I just took care of an evil A-rank villain who murdered and robbed banks, basically doing the hero's job for you. Faced with those words, Stardust had no rebuttal. Seeing her reaction, he continued. Hey, did I do anything wrong? A-rank villains can be executed on the spot by heroes, right? Unable to argue, she switched topics entirely. Egoistic, do you think you are a hero? The question genuinely stunned him. I am a villain. At that moment, he realized something. This many people, tons of them, must be filming and cheering for Stardust. Perfect spot. Snapping out of his thoughts, he clapped half-heartedly with a grin. As expected of Stardust. A villain like me punishing evildoers does break the rules. But I really can't match your ironclad sense of justice. Guess I will retreat for today. His words sparked another round of chatter among the crowd. Yeah, can villains only fight heroes? He sounds badass. You showed up late anyway, you could not catch the teleporter. Honestly, Egoistic did not do anything wrong. Those comments left Stardust bewildered and saddened. Not just her, Egoistic also felt the world had gone completely haywire. What? Something feels off. Right then, Han Seo-eun urged through the earpiece. Oppa, stop messing around, get out of there. Prompted and combined with the situation, he panicked and explained. No, I did not mean, I was right. I will keep doing evil, and Stardust can stop me. Pausing, he switched back to cool mode. Well then, that is it for today. With that, he vanished using his power. With nothing left to watch, the crowd dispersed, leaving a pensive Stardust. Shall we go too? Yeah, let us go. Once everyone was gone, she walked over to the dead Kim Hak Chul, somber. Back at the base, the moment Egoistic returned, he collapsed. Han Seo-eun, prepared, shouted. Uni Subin, over here, hurry. Lee Subin rushed over in alarm. What happened? The girl knelt, examining while explaining. Teleportation side effects. After checking, the two girls dragged him back to the room together. Okay. 1, 2, oh, right then, the phone in Egoistic's pocket buzzed. A post about this afternoon's events had gone up on a free forum, pulling public favor. Who is cooler, badass big bro, Egoistic or old-fashioned granny Stardust? Me, obviously. That night, Stardust sat atop some building, quietly reading the post. After finishing, she could not hide her sadness. Perched on that rooftop, Stardust recalled some unpleasant memories from the past. When she was still just Shinharu, a 17-year-old high school girl, a heartbreaking tragedy struck. No, Mom, Dad, seeing her in such agony, the robber smugly held the wallet he had just stolen. You should have handed it over obediently. After admiring his prize for a while, he pocketed the wallet and drew a handgun to threaten her. Blame your stupid parents. Even with the gun pressed to her head, Shinharu had nothing left to lose and felt no fear. Not getting the reaction he wanted, the robber grew bored, smiled, and holstered the gun. Lucky you, real lucky. With that, he flicked away his cigarette and turned to leave. Unable to stop the man who had murdered her parents, Shin Haru could only collapse in helpless tears. If only I had the power to protect mom and dad. No matter how much she regretted it, what was done was done. Mom, Dad, I will end that bastard. After that vow, Shin Haru sat beside her parents' bodies, crying until she had no tears left. At that moment, a beam of light pierced the dark sky. Soon after, a meteor streaked straight into the narrow alley. The grieving student looked up at the strange glow. The instant she did, a blinding flash filled her vision. Then the alley was bathed in eerie light. When the light faded, Shin Haru lay unconscious, her black hair now golden. The next day, at the secret base, after full rest, Kim Dane finally opened his eyes. Han Seo-eun had been waiting by the glass, ready to cheer the moment he woke. You are awake. Before he could speak, he wearily faced the girl. Seo-eun, can I at least enjoy a hot meal in peace? Suddenly, Han Seo-eun shoved her phone at him. Eat while you listen. She immediately began reading an article aloud. Comprehensive facts about a rank villain Egoistic. Dane, state only the facts about a rank villain Egoistic. Carefully reading, she recounted Dane's many feats. Eliminated a rank villain live, eliminated a rank villain Zodiac. For Koreans already fed up, he staged and suppressed special situations at the observation deck out of the ordinary. Thinking the article ended there, she continued, he also subdued fanatics causing chaos and hostage terrorism in his name, then paid compensation to the hostages. Pausing, Han Seo-eun finished the rest. A rank villain, instant teleporter, evading capture for a long time. Despite bounties, authorities deem arrest extremely difficult. Honestly, Egoistic does not seem like a villain at all. Not satisfied with the shock, she grinned and added, 7,842 likes, 12 dislikes. What do you think? Hearing this, Dane panicked and asked, What? What about Stardust? At the name, Han Seo-eun could not hide her pout. That's Stardust, check the comments below. Without waiting, she read them. Actually, Egoistic is better than Stardust. What has Stardust even done? Dane nearly choked on his food. It did not stop there, she continued. King Ego has already taken down 3 A-rank villains. Calming down, Dane stammered. So why is Stardust getting hated? After thinking, Han Seo-eun answered, probably because among the 3 A-rank heroes, she is the least active. Shadow Walker and Ice have each saved dozens, hundreds of people alone. Stardust has not done much. Finishing, she hesitantly watched his reaction. That is how people are reacting. Hearing the comments, Kim Dane despaired, unable to hide it. Most of them, not done shocking him. Han Seo-eun proudly showed a bizarre dancing mango on screen. Yep, and Egoistic even has an official fan club. This officially broke Dane. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. No way, these lunatics, what kind of villain fan club? Unable to accept it, he stood up, mind racing with a plan. Alright, can't let this slide. After thinking, Kim Dane decided and began preparing the next terror attack. Okay, Seo-eun, Subin, can you two handle it? Suddenly called out. The girls froze in panic. Wait, again, me? Ignoring their dismay, Dane was brimming with excitement. Anyway, gotta show Koreans what a real villain is and who the real hero is. Wait for it, Stardust, I will get you back on top. The one he was counting on was blissfully enjoying a delicious mango frappe. Sipping, Shin Haru suddenly noticed something. Cherry blossoms outside had bloomed fully, creating a romantic scene. Poetic and beautiful, yet her mind was filled with public criticism. Great hero, shows up after the job's done, couldn't even catch the teleporter. Recalling those words, she sighed. Negative thoughts flooded her like a tide. People are more enthusiastic about Egoistic, the villain slayer, than heroes who just slap on probation. I have done my best, why am I still hated? To snap out of it, Shin Haru slapped her cheeks. Wake up. Right then, a familiar voice rang out. Haru, why are you slapping yourself? Hearing it, she snapped awake and saw Kim Chae-yun smiling gently, sitting beside her. Shin Haru grew excited. Her senior smiled at her junior and cheerfully suggested, beautiful weather, let us take a break. Invited like that, Shin Haru agreed instantly. Yeah, when did the cherry blossoms bloom like this? Kim Chae-yun excitedly pulled out her phone. Oh, right, wanna check this out, it is trending, but Haru probably has not seen it. She showed the dancing mango. What do you think? Hilarious, right? Lately, Egoistic is really charming. Seeing it, Shin Haru gritted her teeth, seething. Even Senior Chai Yun likes him. Scrolling, she suddenly noticed something. Huh, what is this? Kim Chai Yun showed her screen. Haru, Egoistic is live streaming right now. Shocked, she asked, what? Grabbing her phone, the familiar voice rang out. Egoistic was targeting Stardust again. She immediately reported to the association and rushed to the scene. The alert ended. Shin Haru slammed the table and stood. Senior Chai Yun, urgent business, gotta go. Sorry, with that. She dashed out before Chai Yun could react. Huh, Haru, running, Shin Haru resolved. Wait for it, Egoistic, this time I will definitely catch you. At that moment, on some cliff, a familiar screen appeared, followed by Egoistic's voice. Long time no see. Hello everyone, I am the villain Egoistic. After introducing himself, he eagerly watched the flood of comments. How will they react? Crazy they treat this like a surprise event. Brushing off stray thoughts, Egoistic opened his phone and spoke playfully. Lots of news about me lately, huh? I am not a hero, I am a villain. And I even have a fan club. Grinning wickedly, he aimed the phone at the train tracks. Maybe you are misunderstanding, I am a villain. Pointing at the tied-up hostages, then at the distant train. Ah, the train's almost here. Are you watching, Stardust? The question prompted a comment. He is still a genuine Stardust superfan. Huh, ignoring it, he explained the rules. Simple game, your choice. Aiming at the tracks, he pressured her. Keep the lever to save one instead of 5, or sacrifice one for the many. Pull it and one says bye. Thinking of Lee Subin controlling the train, he added pressure. Don't try anything. If you pull those people off the tracks, I will flip the train. Got it, Stardust, rule set, Egoistic invited, only one choice, pull the lever. The moment he finished, Stardust appeared. You bastard, Egoistic. Without thinking, she charged down and stood atop the tracks. He watched, satisfied. Here already, Stardust, seeing the hostages, she calculated. If I save them, the passengers are in danger. Think, Stardust, how to save everyone. Seeing her hesitation, Egoistic against his conscience urged. Come on, the Pentagon train is arriving. What will our Stardust choose? Before she acted, viewers speculated. Egoistic loved the comments. As expected, everyone thinks Stardust will pull the lever. But the Stardust I know is not like that. Right then, Lee Subin panicked through the earpiece. Dane, she is running toward me, what do I do? Seeing the figure flying toward her, he reassured, we are live, mute the broadcast mic first. Don't worry, she won't hurt you, Subin. Continuing forward, Lee Subin grew slightly confident. Okay. Successfully calming her, Egoistic resumed his villain act. Okay, unmute. Wait, what? Stardust, what are you doing? That is impossible. You will be torn apart. Stardust, why are you charging in to die? Stop. No matter what he said, Stardust collided head-on with the train. With all her strength, she motivated herself, just hold a little longer. But suddenly the train accelerated beyond control, shocking Egoistic. It is going faster. Realizing something, he panicked. Subin, Miss Subin, wake up, but she had long passed out, no response. He freaked out. I did not prepare for this. Seeing Stardust standing dazed at the mountain's base, Egoistic pressed his psychological attack. Come on, the penta-killed train is pulling in, what will our Stardust choose? Outwardly he said that, but inside he was full of anticipation, watching the girl below. What will the justice-driven girl pick? The one he was counting on was now locked in agonizing inner conflict. After a moment of thought, Stardust clenched her teeth and charged straight at the train. Witnessing this, Egoistic was extremely pleased. He pulled his hood lower. Good, everything's going exactly to plan. Satisfied with the unfolding events, he carried the terrified, thrashing girl closer to the tracks. Once there, he gently set the pale-faced girl onto the rails and secured her with duct tape. Even as he did so, his mind screamed, God, this is exhausting. If Shadow Walker were not around, doing it at night would have been way easier. Daytime terrorism means watching every little detail. No matter how much he complained, he still finished the final knot. Hostage secured. Egoistic instantly teleported back to the cliff to watch the show. Surveying the 5 people he would tied to the station tracks, he was very pleased with his work. I am a little proud of myself. Gazing at the peaceful scene, Egoistic recalled some details. In the original story, Stardust would weaken after clashing with villains, but in exchange she would grow stronger. So if I eliminate villains ahead of time to help her, she will lose her chance to mature. Snapping out of his thoughts, he used his finger to write a few familiar lines in the dirt. Done writing, Egoistic smirked to himself. Consider this your custom physical training zone. Back to the present, watching Stardust pour everything into stopping the train. He was caught off guard and quickly tried to stop her. What are you doing? You will get shredded, Stardust. The scene sent the home audience into a frenzy. Reading the comments, he felt despair. This was not my intention. Outwardly he said that, but inwardly he was thrilled. It totally was my intention. At that moment, Stardust slammed straight into the train, shattering the front. From the cliff, Egoistic observed and analyzed. Her muscle and flight powers are still about 2% short. She is just shy of full A rank, so stopping this train might be beyond her. But there is one trait others do not know about her. Closely watching Stardust's tense, determined face, Egoistic sincerely remarked, when she is in danger, her powers explode. Even so, she was gradually being pushed back. Still, he was confident. That is why she can absolutely stop this. With firm belief, the train's engine began to clunk. Yet it did not stop, it accelerated harder. The anomaly unsettled Egoistic. The train's going even faster. Realizing this, he quickly called his teammate, but Lee Subin had long since passed out. Subin, Miss Subin, wake up. No response. Egoistic panicked. I did not prepare for this. Worst-case scenarios flashed through his mind like a movie. If the people tied to the tracks die, even on a flower-strewn path, Stardust's brave hero image will be ruined. Imagining that, Egoistic clutched his head in distress. Ah, what do I do? Meanwhile, the train was closing in on the unfortunate girl. Seeing this, Stardust gritted her teeth and unleashed superhuman strength. The train still did not slow. She poured every ounce of her life force into stopping it. Though the front was nearly demolished, it had not slowed at all. From above, Egoistic watched Stardust with desperate hope. Please, please. As the gap between train and hostage shrank, he could only pray. Come on. Suddenly, Egoistic noticed something. After all her effort, Stardust finally halted the train and the phone captured it all. Witnessing the unbelievable, Egoistic cheered in joy. She stopped it. We are temporarily out of the dead end. Amid the chaos, he was filled with anticipation. Come on, show yourself. Stardust, are you okay? The train was too fast. Staring at the live phone screen, Egoistic's thoughts raced. Could she be dead? But in that instant, Stardust's familiar figure appeared. Seeing the girl he admired safe and sound, he could not hide his excitement and whooped. A moment later, remembering he was a villain, he composed himself. No, she actually stopped it. You really pulled it off. This was not my plan. Shifting focus to the stunned Stardust, Egoistic hypnotized himself. She found her own way out of the dilemma. Yeah, exactly. The declaration exploded the comments. Reading each one, his face lit up with excitement. Yes, this is the reaction. See, bursting with pride, he showered praise on the girl below. This is the hero named Stardust. Watch her powers erupt just to save people. Stardust, having used everything, finally collapsed. Seeing this, his eyes filled with worry. Ignoring his image, he jumped down to check on her. Approaching, he felt a pang hearing her faint curse. You bastard, Egoistic. Though saddened, Egoistic stayed focused. All right, Stardust, you did amazingly, beyond anything I imagined. This is your victory. With that, he gently closed her eyes so she could rest, whispering, I am leaving, rest well. Other heroes will come help you soon. Letting Stardust recover, he stood, removed his hood, and expressed regret. Yes, my terror attack ends here. Thank you for watching. After speaking, the screen went black. A shocking comment appeared. Those two, what is with the romantic vibe? The next morning, at the secret base, Han Seo-eun was full of energy, running everywhere. Wake up, lazybones. Kim Dane and Lee Subin, exhausted from yesterday, looked haggard. Oh God, I am dying. Morning, Seo-eun. Her appearance made the girl judge. Just one terror attack and everyone's wrecked. Not scolding, Han Seo-eun pointed at the fully loaded breakfast table, inviting them. Come on, look at all this hot food. The two's eyes lit up. Seo-eun, you made this. Dane woke up, ruffled Han Seo-eun's hair, and praised, thanks. Seo-eun, it is nothing. Embarrassed, she pinched his side. While Dane writhed, Han Seo-eun sat at the table and urged, hurry and eat, it will get cold. The three sat together, enjoying breakfast. Bon appétit. After saying that, everyone focused on the delicious food. While eating, Han Seo-eun noticed the remote nearby, grabbed it. She scarfed her food and ran to the sofa to watch TV. Let us see the latest news. The broadcast started. Han Seo-eun excitedly pointed at the screen. Let us see how yesterday's feed was reported. Next story. Hearing this, Dane could not hide his smugness while eating. My villain image must be cemented. Naturally, Stardust soared to one arrow, 2 birds, even the eggs. Right then, Han Seo-eun burst out laughing. Her odd state confused him. Huh, what? She pointed at the screen, yelling excitedly. They say you two are dating. The anchor's comments rang out. This follows a rank hero Stardust stopping the train yesterday. First, please look at this photo. The moment he closed her eyes for rest appeared. The anchor continued, as you can see, the villain and hero look just like a couple. In another place, Shin Haru watched the news. Unable to contain her anger, she crushed the glass in her hand. As one of the parties involved, Kim Dane was terrified. What the hell is this? The host announced that in Korea, the most popular villain is Egoistic, and the rising superhero newcomer is Stardust. Rumors of them dating have been exploding lately. Reporter Park, what is the reason behind this romance buzz? Reporter Park pointed at the screen and continued. Look here, do you recognize it? The host replied, huh, oh yes. It is a line of text with Stardust's name. Reporter Park slammed the table, stood up, and declared loudly, wrong, it is not just a simple line, it is, to my Stardust. This is the gift I give you. That is the meaning. Next, the screen showed the clip of Kim Dane kneeling on one knee beside the unconscious Shin Haru, saying, all right, Stardust, you did amazingly, in a way I never imagined. This is your victory. Reporter Park pointed at the scene, voice firm and assertive. Look closely if this is not love. What is? When Man Egoistic said those final words and gently closed Stardust's eyes, she quietly drifted off. Reporter Park added, if they are not dating, what do you call this? Elsewhere, Shin Haru sat alone in the classroom, watching the discussion. Her mood darkened. She propped her chin on her hand, thinking, are people still sane? Me dating that insane villain? Absolutely impossible. Shin Haru fell silent for a moment, then wondered to herself, what is this? Clearly, I am overflowing with hatred and loathing for that guy. But mixed in is this weird, inexplicable feeling. While Shin Haru sat muttering sadly to herself, another girl approached. Kim Chae-yun, with a sympathetic expression, said, Haru, your soul must be drained from all the studying. Then Kim Chae-yun pulled out an ice cream festival flyer and smiled brightly at Shin Haru. Today, let Unnie heal you. She tossed the flyer aside and looked at her with sparkling, emotional eyes. Just trust me today, let us go have fun. Elsewhere, whining echoed non-stop from the house. Come on, let us go. Han Seo-eun was throwing a tantrum on the floor, thrashing about she just wanted to go out. Lee Subin, at a loss, said, Seo-eun, do not whine like that. Han Seo-eun refused. We have already done 2 terror attacks, now I want to play. At that moment, Kim Dane spoke up. Miss Subin, Seo-eun, how about we all go out? Hearing this, Han Seo-eun instantly sat bolt upright, tantrum over. She cheered triumphantly. Subin smiled too. Kim Dane held the same ice cream festival flyer as Kim Chae-yun earlier. He smiled, thinking, this was not in the original story, but it should be fine, right? On Shin Haru's side, her mood had improved. She thought expectantly, an ice cream festival. At the festival, people were everywhere, the scene buzzed with life. Kim Dane marveled, wow, even on a weekday afternoon, it is packed. Han Seo-eun walked beside him with a cone, puzzled. Oppa, black clothes again, Kim Dane grinned. Seo-eun, real men wear black. Han Seo-eun laughed. What are you talking about? Kim Dane looked surprised. Huh, she is smiling so brightly. And calling me Oppa, Kim Dane thought with a soft smile, she must be in a really good mood. Han Seo-eun cheered and pointed ahead. Rice ice cream, she excitedly ran to the stall. Kim Dane smiled at Lee Subin. Going out is worth it, huh? Subin happily agreed. Yeah, the kid looks thrilled. Lee Subin activated her personal perception filter. When recruited by Kim Dane, she would already appeared on air once. Kim Dane tried a spoonful of ice cream and exclaimed in surprise, "Oh, it is really good." Scooping another, he said, "Subin, try this." Lee Subin blushed, shyly eyeing the spoon Kim Dane offered. Han Seo-eun innocently asked from the side, "What is wrong, Unnie, hurry and eat." Lee Subin stammered, Wait a sec." Blushing, she opened her mouth and leaned toward the spoon, thinking, isn't this an indirect kiss? Finally, Subin tasted it. Her face lit up with delight. It is really good. Han Seo-eun had finished her cone. She happily ran to another stall. Over there, mango ice cream, Kim Dane quickly called. Hey, wait for me. Han Seo-eun stared at the mango ice cream through the glass with sparkling eyes. She excitedly told the vendor, "1 cone, please." The vendor scooped while smiling at Kim Dane. Wow, she looks just like her parents, adorable. Kim Dane was speechless. He closed his eyes and accepted it. Ha ha, yeah, sure. Lee Subin beside him blushed furiously. Han Seo-eun turned back, whispering teasingly to Kim Dane, "This guy thinks you look older than you are." Kim Dane fired back, "Maybe it is because of your height, not me." Han Seo-eun could not argue and huffed. The vendor handed over the ice cream. "Here you go, 1 cone, 2 cups." Everyone took theirs. Kim Dane smiled and asked Han Seo-eun, "You ordered for us too?" She replied, "You are the leader of the Penta-Kill crew, of course you eat mango." Kim Dane was confused by his new title. Penta-Kill crew. Seeing the vendor's smile, he had nowhere to hide his embarrassment. Never mind. Suddenly, Kim Dane's eyes widened in shock. The vendor was showing off the back of his shirt, featuring Kim Dane as ego stick. The vendor grinned. "I made it myself, looks good, right?" Kim Dane was at a loss for words. Han Seo-eun generously gave a thumbs up. Totally cinematic. A while later, the three sat on a bench, relaxing with their ice cream. Suddenly, Kim Dane spotted something. He asked Han Seo-eun, "Seo-eun, did you know I used to be a dart-throwing pro? Preparing to show off, I will demonstrate my skills." Han Seo-eun caught him red-handed. "Hey, Oppa, are you planning to cheat with telekinesis?" Kim Dane froze mid-scoop. The staff said, "We have got an event going on." The dart booth attendant explained, "Hit all 10 times and win the 10-layer ice cream tower." Han Seo-eun said, "I would rather have second prize, that teddy bear is cute." Kim Dane asked the staff, "First prize can be chosen freely, right?" The staff confirmed, "Yes." Kim Dane confidently promised Han Seo-eun, "Seo-eun, hear that? I will get it for you." He thought to himself, pretending to focus, then discreetly adding a touch of power, 1 throw and done. At that moment, Kim Chae-yun also approached the dart booth and asked the staff, "How much per try?" She immediately caught Kim Dane's attention nearby. He thought, she looks familiar. Then he jolted Kim Chae-yun, Shin Haru's university senior. Kim Chae-yun said, "Wow, Haru, there is even a 10-layer ice cream prize." Another female voice replied, "Let me try to win one for you, Unnie." Han Seo-eun noticed Kim Dane spacing out and wondered, "Oppa, what are you doing? Throw already." At that point, Lee Subin and Han Seo-eun finally noticed Shin Haru's arrival. The trio broke into a cold sweat, not daring to make a sound. Then Shin Haru glanced at the three. She looked at Kim Dane, who was still frozen in his throwing pose. Kim Chae-yun beamed with excitement, flashing a bright and radiant smile as she pointed ahead with her hand. "Haru, over there is rice ice cream." The two arrived at the ice cream shop, where Kim Chae-yun savored it in ecstasy. "It is super delicious." In high spirits, she looked at Shin Haru. "Haru, try this." Shin Haru leaned down low, tasting the ice cream with her lips. After eating, her cheeks flushed pink, her eyes sparkling brightly. "It is really good." Kim Chae-yun, holding the ice cream box in one hand and squinting her eyes in satisfied delight, said, "Finally, your facial muscles are relaxing, Haru." As if drawn by something, the two turned their heads at the same time. Kim Chae-yun grabbed Shin Haru's hand, her heart overflowing with vibrant pink light. "Let us go, over there is the flavor Haru likes best." Directing her gaze to the food stall, she said, "It is the mango flavor. Let us eat it quick." Upon seeing the mango, Shin Haru's eyes glistened, showing extreme delight. But not long after, her mood suddenly turned gloomy, her face drooping. The male employee turned around playfully, revealing a chibi image on the back of his shirt. "I made that myself," he said. Kim Chae-yun nodded in admiration and praised, "Oh my god, it is so cute." Afterward, the two rested on a cool stone bench. Kim Chae-yun stretched comfortably. "This is really nice." She tilted her head slightly, turning to Shin Haru. "Haru likes it too, right?" From her sulky state, Shin Haru broke into a positive smile and replied, "Yeah, of course, Unnie." Then Shin Haru closed her eyes, savoring the moment. Under the large cherry blossom tree, a few flower branches fell lightly. And Shin Haru thought, "How long has it been since I have gone out to enjoy scenery like this?" The corners of her mouth curved into a smile, her eyes closed. "It is wonderful." Not long after, Kim Chae-yun pointed to the food stall in front. "Haru, after finishing this, let us try that one over there." Shin Haru stared intently at her as she excitedly said, "Darts." Shin Haru immediately smiled brightly. "Sounds fun." Balloons were decorated and neatly arranged on the stall's roof in vibrant colors. The friendly female employee handed over the dart equipment. "There is an event going on. If you hit all 10 times, you get a 10-layer ice cream as a prize." Shin Haru gently observed and replied, "Yes, madam." Her distinctive blue eyes scanned over, locking onto 3 players who were sweating profusely. They looked like a young married couple. But why was the girl's hair silver? No, she must be a granddaughter. That fits better. Shin Haru stared longer at the worried Kim Dane, thinking to herself, "Why does this man feel so familiar?" Before she could ponder further, Kim Chae-yun shouted from behind, "Haru, go ahead and throw." Shin Haru heard and quickly agreed, "Ah, yes." Shin Haru threw straight, emitting a brilliant orange light. Kim Chae-yun squinted in thrilled delight. One shot right on target. Kim Dane watched, sweat dripping, a bit anxious, thinking, Stardust's abilities are monstrous strength and flight. The longer I look at her, the more I realize this monstrous power is not just about being strong. Then he used the item in his hand, or more precisely, at that moment, Shin Haru delivered another perfect throw, displaying extraordinarily superior physique. An excited, cheerful voice rang out, "2 hits already." Kim Dane lowered his face, feeling a bit disappointed, thinking, right now, her power only explodes terrifyingly when needed, but later, she will gradually become a superhuman beyond human limits. Shin Haru threw the darts in a joyful mood. Not only her 5 senses but her 6th sense was developed too, or in other words, her instincts would immediately detect anything unusual. Shin Haru found it strange seeing Kim Dane looking dejected and kept thinking to confirm it. Right at that moment, it was enough for her to sense that this guy might be someone. If here and now, she revealed her identity, the image of Shin Haru as a superhuman flashed in his mind, then she would throw him straight into prison. Shin Haru and Kim Chae-yun hugged each other in joy, causing Kim Dane to fall backward. A dart thrown by Shin Haru at high speed hit a balloon. Kim Chae-yun stood beside her, praising endlessly in admiration. "Haru, you are amazing. You hit all 10. Hearing that, Shin Haru immediately became shy and reserved. "It is nothing, just a small thing." The female employee happily handed the 2 a 10-layer ice cream. "Here's the 10-layer ice cream." The employee suddenly turned to Kim Dane. "Hey, are not you throwing, sir?" He was stunned and unexpectedly replied, "Oh wow, the person next to me is so good at shooting that I got mesmerized watching. I will throw right now." Kim Dane turned to look at Han Seo-eun, forcing a smile, hesitating in his words. "Seo-eun, look here. I will show you my dart-throwing skills." The girl cheered him on but with some doubt. "Hurry up." Kim Dane held 10 darts at once, thinking anxiously, no need to use powers, just throw a few randomly and slip away. He quickly threw decisively and fast forward. But unfortunately, all 10 of his throws hit 10 balloons perfectly. Everyone was shocked, eyes wide like A's, mouths like O's. Kim Dane, on the contrary, said, "Why in the world?" In Kim Chae-yun's hand was the 10-layer ice cream stick. She looked at him in surprise. "The guest next to us is incredibly skilled too." A stuffed bear was brought out by the female employee. "You said you wanted the stuffed bear more than the grand prize, right? Here, the stuffed bear is ready." But Kim Dane chose to dash away quickly. The female employee raised her hand to stop him. "Hey, wait!" The 3 of them ran, laughing awkwardly. "It is fine, we are leaving." Han Seo-eun quickly joined in. Yeah, let us go. In Kim Chae-yun's hand was the long ice cream, smiling brightly. Hey, let us bring it over to Haru for you. Shin Haru held the bear, turning back. Yes. But halfway there, the ice cream stick tripped because it was too tall and spilled everything. The colorful layers of ice cream headed toward Kim Dane. Seeing it, he thought, if even a bit touches me, I will turn into benzene. His eyes widened, mouth agape. I have to avoid it at all costs. Kim Dane's mind raced, dodging to the side without ice cream and collapsing. Everyone who saw rushed over in panic. Han Seo-eun freaked out. Oppa, Shin Haru felt guilty, mouth wide open. Are you okay? Kim Chae-yun's eyes drooped, hand over her mouth, showing worry. Kim Dane quickly replied, I am fine, you do not need to worry. Then slowly, Kim Dane cautiously stood up, hand on his neck. It is nothing, I overreacted a bit. Just dodging a little is enough. Come on, let us go. Lee Subin, having seen it, felt a bit annoyed. What are you thinking? Hurry up, please. If we keep this up, we will all die. Sweat poured down Kim Dane's face. Halfway through speaking, a dark smoke approached from behind. Hurry, let us go. Shin Haru and Kim Dane immediately turned to look at that bizarre thing. A crimson sky, accompanied by thick black-gray smoke, made the citizens flee in haste. The sharp fangs of the green-furred crocodile appeared. It stood tall and puffed up in front, roaring, Stardust, Stardust, come out now. System notification, Crocodile Man, a rank villain. Kim Dane hugged Han Seo-eun and Lee Subin, making Lee Subin embarrassed. You two stay right here. Kim Dane's sharp and suspicious eyes arose, thinking, according to the original story's sequence, that guy is not supposed to appear yet. Why is he suddenly active now? Shin Haru seemed to have grasped the situation and rushed forward. Kim Chae-yun was surprised. Haru, Kim Dane gritted his teeth, pain showing. Running back to the association for a perception filter is too urgent now. If it is Stardust from the original, the moment she reveals her face is the start of a path of misfortune and decline. The image of a woman with golden hair hiding her face appeared. No, in the original, when she appears, bad things happen. Kim Dane's body throbbed in pain, clenching his teeth. That thing, even if the sky falls, I won't let it happen, Kim Dane shouted loudly. Unexpected purple lights flared up, enveloping his body, growing stronger. His everyday clothes fell off completely, flying elsewhere. He appeared in a suit and elegant hat, completely different from usual. I will pick up the clothes later. Seo-eun, hey, the girl behind. What are you planning? Soon after, Kim Dane ordered Han Seo-eun. Support the broadcast for me. Han Seo-eun sat alone, hugging the stuffed bear, muttering a few words. Dane Oppa. The crocodile frantically clawed at everything. Stardust, if you do not show up, I will destroy everything. Its eyes lit up golden from the broadcast voice. Hello, dear viewers, black speakers blared with echoing sound. The true villain of this era, Kim Dane held the mic, grinning to show his teeth. The common enemy of the Republic of Korea, egoistic, his voice carried far through the speakers. Dare to touch my territory, you little crocodile. It stood below, furious and ready to act. What? Online forums were already buzzing. Egoistic, 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 someone exclaimed. Oh my god, he is egoistic, another account said. He admitted it himself as the common enemy. Someone else wondered, wasn't he a hero before? This is so confusing. Everyone was excited. One started, laughing hysterically. Why does this feel like a shocking music festival? Kim Dane's fearsome face appeared in view, glancing down, softly saying, now, you will die here. At a building of a major corporation, 3 years ago, inside an association lecture hall, a voice rang out. The device in front was indispensable for heroes. A middle-aged man stood before the neatly seated crowd. He pointed to the modern machine beside him and said, the so-called perception-reducing filter, commonly abbreviated as filter. He explained. Once you enter the device and come out, for a certain period, the filter will be applied to your face. Only faces with the filter applied will cause viewers to experience recognition disruption. He continued. But if you reveal your face to someone who already knows it, the filter won't work. Everyone understood. The people below responded in unison. Yes. Then, his expression turned serious. He gripped the microphone tightly and said, "Even a fool knows how dangerous it is for a hero to have their face exposed. Career aside, your whole life is ruined. Remember this well." Shin Haru, sitting below, resolutely shouted. Yes. Back to the present, the streets had become desolate, shrouded in dust and smoke. At this moment, Kim Chae-yun and Shin Haru were desperately hiding along the roadside. Shin Haru turned her head, looking around with a worried expression. She thought to herself, "It is too late to go back to headquarters for the filter. What do I do?" Suddenly, Shin Haru clenched her fists, looking very determined. She gazed at the panicking crowd and thought, "In this situation, do I become a hero just to run away?" Shin Haru immediately untied her hair bun. Her golden hair fluttered in the wind, her expression resolute. She clenched her fists, stepped forward, and thought, "No." Kim Chae-yun saw this and panicked, shouting loudly, "Haru!" Suddenly, a group of people looked at their phones with joyful expressions and yelled, "It is Egoistic! Egoistic is here!" Shin Haru heard and turned around in surprise, her expression puzzled as she exclaimed, "What?" She muttered. The true villain of this era, the common enemy of the entire Republic of Korea, Egoistic. At this time, Kim Dane was standing on the rooftop of a building. Beside him were two gigantic speakers blasting music at full power. Below was a green crocodile monster. Kim Dane shouted, "Dare to touch my territory, you little crocodile." The crocodile, hearing this, exclaimed in surprise, "What?" Kim Dane smiled savagely, pointing at the crocodile monster and said, "Now you will die here." Then, Kim Dane picked up the microphone, thinking, "No, absolutely not. Stardust, in the original story, suffered so much after revealing her face. A hero's everyday life is truly important." Kim Dane, with an angry tone, yelled at the crocodile, "Do you know that, you crocodile?" The crocodile monster heard and shouted back in defiance, "You bastard, the one pretending to be close with Stardust is not that egoistic." Suddenly, the crocodile monster leapt toward Kim Dane's position as fast as the wind. Kim Dane said, "Hey, why keep bringing up Stardust?" Comment displayed. "Stardust's obsessive fan is here, Mr. Crocodile." The crocodile charged toward Kim Dane with a furious expression, roaring, "I will kill you." At this point, it had quickly climbed the building wall, clinging tightly to the rooftop ledge. It climbed onto the rooftop where Kim Dane stood. Upon seeing Kim Dane, it acted aggressively, bellowing, "Come here." Kim Dane, seeing this, used teleportation to retreat backward. The crocodile monster saw this and lunged at Kim Dane. Suddenly, Kim Dane teleported and appeared above the crocodile monster's head. He said, "What are you doing?" Kim Dane struck the crocodile monster's head hard with a satisfied expression, saying, "You know my name but do not know I have teleportation." The crocodile monster, caught off guard by the hit, flinched and flailed its limbs wildly to strike Kim Dane. But whenever it got close, Kim Dane vanished before its eyes. It angrily roared, "You damn mosquito, fight fair one-on-one." Kim Dane calmly replied, "Hey, I am a villain." As soon as he said that, a comment displayed, "He is a villain, still insisting today that he is a villain." Kim Dane looked at the comments, utterly bewildered. Comments continued to appear. But why did Egoistic come here? Kim Dane thought. Wait, I need to explain this a bit. If I ignore it, people will misunderstand that I came for Stardust. Suddenly, Kim Dane stopped and shouted at the crocodile. Wait, listen to me first. The crocodile monster heard and replied. Fine, speak quickly. Kim Dane shouted in a questioning tone. Yeah, but first I have to ask this. Why did you suddenly attack me? The crocodile monster answered without hesitation. That is obvious, I targeted Stardust. And you seem to care a lot about Stardust, so you are my enemy. Kim Dane, hearing this, was shocked, stunned, and thought. What the hell, what kind of logic is that? Comment displayed. That stupid villain even knows Egoistic likes Stardust, does not know he can teleport, but knows he likes Stardust. Haha. Comments continued. Are these two fighting over a girl? Isn't Egoistic here in place of Stardust? What, why get involved with these two? Kakaka, why now? Suddenly, the crocodile monster pointed at the dumbfounded Kim Dane and shouted. And another thing, you said you would kill me first. Comment displayed. Haha, exactly right. Kim Dane, hearing this, stunned, replied. When did I say that? Hearing that, the crocodile monster became extremely angry, its aura blazing like fire. It roared. You said, dare to touch my territory, you little crocodile, threatening, now you will die here. You said that. Kim Dane, flustered, defended himself. No way, I did not say that. Comment displayed. Why is the crocodile suddenly speaking so sweetly? How did the threat go? Suddenly, the crocodile monster seemed to have reached its limit. It frantically roared at Kim Dane. I am really pissed now. Next, it opened its long mouth wide. A fireball slowly formed inside its mouth. Kim Dane, seeing this, showed a terrified expression, eyes wide, thinking. Whoa, is not that its ultimate skill? Before he could finish thinking, a massive flame shot from the crocodile's mouth, incinerating almost everything in front of it. Crocodile, ultimate skill, extremely powerful fire breath. Fortunately, Kim Dane quickly used teleportation to dodge the fatal blow from the crocodile monster. He teleported behind the crocodile monster, looking at the horrifying scene and saying in shock. One hit and instant death. The crocodile monster turned its head to Kim Dane and said with a sharp tone, surprised, egoistic. At this moment, Kim Dane did not hesitate and waved a black cloth. Instantly, countless guns emerged from the cloth and flew toward the crocodile monster. Kim Dane looked at the crocodile coldly, without hesitation, clenched his fist, and said, see you in hell, you bastard. Immediately, all the guns fired simultaneously at the crocodile monster. After a series of explosions, everything was shrouded in smoke and dust. Kim Dane flew up, looking into the cloud of smoke and wondering. Did I take him down? Comment displayed. Oh no, could it be that after all those bullets, the crocodile is still alive? It burst out of the smoke and roared. You think a few bullets can hurt my body? Suddenly, Kim Dane's mask fell in front of the livestream camera. He quickly teleported away from the phone. He slowly pulled out a gas mask, stood high up looking at the crocodile monster, and said, no, I did that to lower your guard. Suddenly, Kim Dane threw an unidentified object toward the crocodile monster. The crocodile monster, seeing this, looked down on it, opened its jaws wide, and swallowed the object whole. It roared. You damn mosquito bastard. At that moment, a strong light burst from the unidentified object inside the crocodile's mouth. The crocodile monster convulsed as if electrocuted, writhing in pain, surrounded by a golden light. Kim Dane, seeing this, thought. Hey, in the original story, because of your thick skin, Stardust suffered so much, did you think I would not prepare? At this point, after taking the attack, the crocodile monster was covered in blood. It staggered for a moment, then collapsed, completely unconscious. Comments kept appearing. Mangastick, Mangastick. Request the association to designate Mangastick as a hero immediately, yet he still calls himself a villain. At this time, the guns from earlier lost power and slowly fell to the ground. Kim Dane also slowly landed on the rooftop along with the guns. The ground was littered with guns everywhere. Kim Dane gathered the guns with a trembling, exhausted appearance. He looked up at the sky and complained. Damn, that took way too much energy. Wanted to make a cool scene with external power, but my strength is depleted, I can barely hold the phone. At this moment, Kim Dane remembered the phone that was live streaming and read a comment. So he came here to take down the villain. Kim Dane, seeing this, frantically explained. Yes. No, everyone, I came here because I hate that crocodile guy. Don't think I did it for Stardust or the public good. Comment displayed. Whatever he says is right. Suddenly, a golden light flew from somewhere and landed on the rooftop where Kim Dane stood. It was Shin Haru. She slowly stood up after a spectacular landing. Then, Shin Haru approached Kim Dane and questioned. You took down that guy? Kim Dane calmly replied. Yeah, because he was in the way, so I handled it. Shin Haru, hearing this, looked slightly suspicious. She coldly stared at Kim Dane and said. Why? Kim Dane shrugged and calmly answered. Why what? Because he kept yelling that I and Stardust here were suspiciously close, so I got annoyed. Shin Haru, hearing this, was shocked. What? Then, Kim Dane put on his earpiece, looked at Shin Haru, smiled, and continued. Miss Stardust. Next time something like today happens, do not think you can just reveal your face and show off. Once your face is exposed, your life will be very hard. Shin Haru, hearing this, was surprised and looked at Kim Dane blankly. Then, he turned to pick up the phone and said, "Alright, today's broadcast ends here. The situation was too unexpected. I am exhausted. There is a big event next month. Everyone tune in." Comment displayed. "What were you two saying on the broadcast with the mic off?" Then, Kim Dane disappeared with a flash of light, saying, "Goodbye for now." Shin Haru, seeing this, reached out her hand and said, "Wait." Her expression was slightly sad. At this moment, Kim Dane had teleported home. Suddenly, blood poured from his mouth. Kim Dane, his face expressionless, looked like a soulless person. Han Seo-eun and Subin, seeing this, panicked and ran over with worried faces, shouting, "Oppa, Dane." At this moment, Kim Dane had collapsed to the ground. On the rooftop, Shin Haru found Kim Dane's mask and picked it up. She examined the mask, thinking, "How does he know what I am thinking? Why, who exactly are you, egoistic?" Shin Haru was sitting in front of the computer screen watching the news. On the screen were two hot stories from KBS News. Exclusive scoop causing a stir at the festival. A rank villain Crocodile Man has been captured. He was subdued by Egoistic and transferred to the Eastern Hero Detention Center. The building destroyed by the crocodile 4 hours ago. Close-up of Egoistic being faster than anyone. Is a rank villain Egoistic really a villain or something else? Search for Egoistic. Search results, about 2030 results in 0.45 seconds. Official Egoistic Mango Stick Fan Club, Mango Stick Association, Hero Information Portal. The true hero of this era for Mango, and because of Mango the fan club was created to honor Mango Stick. One commenter, "Is Mango Stick a god?" Today, suddenly, Mango Stick G. Miyaga joined the Mango Stick fan club. Egoistic, Egoistic, Ego Stick. Another commenter, "Lately, Mango Stick seems better than those heroes. Admiring Mango Stick is confusing." Right before praising Mango Stick, they were banned for a month for supporting a villain. Why is not everyone doing it anymore? Shin Haru clutched her head in frustration. Then she suddenly saw a comment, "What are the heroes doing today? Lately, Mango Stick walks the streets and the fandom blindly cheers. If Korea keeps going like this." Below that post was a comment with Dane's funny icon. "Great, right," Shin Haru exclaimed. "Who the hell?" She lay down on the bed, closed her eyes, thinking she was the only one who did not like it. She remembered the ice cream vendor excitedly showing off his Mango Club shirt. "I made that myself," Chae-yun beside her also praised. "Oh, it is so cute." Then she recalled the scene where he reminded her, "Ah, Miss Stardust, next time something happens, do not think you can just reveal your face and show off." Shin Haru was tormented by the response. Could it be that everyone else is right and I am the only one wrong? On the other side, Subin and Seo-eun were standing in front of a glass chamber. Kim Dane was lying inside it. Little Seo-eun kept fuming because of that Stardust woman. Suddenly, a sound made her freeze. Kim Dane opened his eyes, tapped the glass, and asked, "Why is everyone crying?" The two looked at him with worry. Immediately, Seo-eun rushed in to hug him and cried loudly. Seeing this, Kim Dane comforted, "It is okay, it is okay." Finally, he recovered and had dinner with everyone. He could not believe he had been unconscious for 3 whole days. Looking back, it was probably due to using teleportation so much. Plus lifting his body with external force, it was exhausting. Suddenly, Seo-eun spoke, "From now on, you have to take care of your body properly." "Okay," Kim Dane quickly promised. "Alright, I will." He happily looked at the girl, thinking that this kid had even shed tears for him. Acting with her seemed effective. On the other side, Subin worriedly said, "You went out like that, why did you rush off? People thought you were a hero." Seo-eun also agreed and questioned, "Exactly, I do not understand at all. You keep saying you are a villain this, villain that." Kim Dane calmly replied, "If I had not stepped in, Stardust would have." The girl still did not understand, "So what?" Kim Dane answered, making Seo-eun pause, "It is dangerous." He explained, if that situation happened, when a hero reveals their face, their personal information gets exposed completely. Then what? Villains who hold grudges or evil people will track them down and eliminate the hero. Seo-eun still did not see the big deal. What does that have to do with us? Kim Dane patiently explained, "Seo-eun, well, the world we live in is an off-axis system. An imbalance between good and evil. Most heroes do not walk the hero path, they choose the villain path. The reward for eliminating evil is too little, and they are constantly harassed, so instead of struggling as a hero, many choose to be villains to live easier. According to him, in Korea alone, there are only 3 A-rank heroes: Stardust, Ice, and Shadow Walker. But A-rank villains are everywhere, right? After listening, Seo-eun could only sigh. So that is why you plan to take down villains in their place. Wow, what a dark hero, but what does it have to do with us? Kim Dane scratched his head. Stubborn, not to that extent, I am just a bit concerned about Korea's fate. Suddenly, Seo-eun's face darkened and she asked, you and that Stardust woman, do you like her? Immediately, Kim Dane became serious. Hey, do not call her that, Seo-eun. Be polite. The atmosphere between them grew tense. Subin could only mediate. Seo-eun, change the subject. Why not talk about what we discussed earlier, tell Kim Dane. Immediately, Seo-eun changed her attitude and exclaimed, right. She turned to Kim Dane and said, Oppa. Kim Dane, confused, grunted. Seo-eun begged, summer is coming, let us go on a trip. To the beach, Kim Dane replied, a trip, that sounds nice. The girl cheered happily. But Kim Dane had an idea, but let us do one more terrorism act first. Then go. Seo-eun, confused, terrorism again, he wanted to reduce his fame a bit. Actually, Kim Dane had another goal, to make Stardust stronger. He was not sure those crocodile types would not pop up again. If Stardust faced them, it would be tough. Seo-eun pouted a little. To soothe her, Kim Dane held out his pinky, promise. The girl cheered, you promised. Then Seo-eun happily ran off. Let us pack, she worked efficiently, saying, actually, I have thought of dozens of plans, Seo-eun declared, among them, if I propose one. Kim Dane and Subin thought, wow, Seo-eun is so proactive. She outlined the plan. Previous terror acts were at the observatory or train ground terrorism, both on land, right. She suggested something new. This time, let us do it underwater or in the sky, immediately. Kim Dane felt a spark and shouted, got it. Subin clenched her fists, excitedly asking, what is it, Kim Dane? He replied, let us see an airplane crashing into the sea. The idea flashed, and Kim Dane and Seo-eun grinned wickedly. Subin was a bit scared of these two villains. An airplane was flying in the sky. Everyone on board was relaxed, unaware of what was coming. Suddenly, the plane lost power. But people remained optimistic. Look, with the lights off, the sky is clearer, feels just like a vacation. The plane's screen lit up, displaying the ego. A voice echoed throughout the cabin. Everyone, glad to see you again. The biggest puzzle in the sky at 25,000 feet. No, call it the greatest quiz game in the air. Welcome to the ego sigh. An angry passenger shouted, flight attendant, what is going on? Kim Dane continued the announcement. Ah, right. And of course, the plane you are on has a bomb attached. One bomb on the fuselage. At this point, the pilot realized and wondered, what, when did he attach that? Hearing this, everyone panicked and screamed. On the other side, Kim Dane smirked wickedly. Now, let the game begin. Scene shift to Hero headquarters. Shin Haru burst into the room, asking, how long since the incident started? The association chairman trembled and said, even if you go, you might not make it in time. This immediately angered her. She slammed the table and shouted, is that what the association chairman says? I have to go now. He turned away, saying, did I say not to go? It is really difficult during the day. Suddenly, someone entered. Upon seeing the person, Shin Haru beamed and cheered, Kim Chae-yun. The one who entered was Kim Chae-yun, a rank hero Shadow Walker, king of the night. He turned to the chairman and said, hurry to Jew Airport, then I will go sleep. Fighting is too much for me. The chairman warned, don't overdo it, we can't save everyone. Shadow Walker used his ability, and Shin Haru replied, I will remember that. As she stepped closer to Shadow Walker, they were enveloped in a dark power. Instantly, they teleported to the scene. Shin Haru quickly rushed out, not forgetting to thanks for the hard work. Shadow Walker, on the other side, covered his mouth, collapsed on the stairs, nearly fainting. Shin Haru dashed outside. Looking up at the sky, she was horrified. Her running feet suddenly stopped, her face showing despair. How do I stop this? Before Shin Haru's eyes right now was the airplane blazing in mid-air. Scene shift to 1 year ago, in a building where villains were holding a meeting. All of them turned toward the one seated high up. listening as he spoke. The day I place both Seonwoo and this entire Republic of Korea under my heel is not far off. He, Needle 1000, a level 5 villain, chuckled smugly. Suddenly, a voice rang out. But my opinion differs. The group grew wary. Who is there? Shadow Walker appeared in the corner of the room and replied, it is a hero. The A-rank rookie hero Shadow Walker, King of the Night, crossed his arms coolly and said, you evil scum. Needle 1000 stepped forward, posturing. Hey kid, do you even know whose territory this is? One of the underling villains, confused. How did he sneak in here? Suddenly, Shadow Walker's eyes turned white, and he stood motionless. Needle 1000 charged, throwing a punch and shouting. It is my territory, Needle 1000's. He unleashed a powerful punch, the force surging toward Shadow Walker, but the boy remained still. Abruptly, the punch stopped upon touching Shadow Walker. This left Needle 1000 in disbelief. He and his underlings looked around, baffled. Where did he disappear to? Suddenly, beneath one underling's shadow, something strange happened. The man was instantly swallowed into the shadow. The remaining underlings quickly met the same fate. Needle 1000 immediately surrounded himself with power, thinking, can't let my guard down. He is no ordinary guy. Shadow Walker's night power crept up to his shoulder. Shadow Walker emerged from behind, lunging, but Needle 1000 had some skill and shot power from his back like porcupine quills into Shadow Walker. He turned triumphantly and said, this brat dares to bare his claws at me. However, when he turned, Shadow Walker was lying on the ground, covered in dark power. Suddenly, the boy vanished, leaving Needle 1000 panicked. Shadow Walker, eyes glowing red, appeared behind him and asked, hey, Porcupine, you said this was your territory earlier, right? He extended his hand, gray power swirling, and said, sorry, but this place is now my territory. A dark hand enveloped and trapped Needle 1000 in another space. Recalling that scene, Shadow Walker was lying on the stairs, panting heavily, thinking, I am definitely going to die. From the beginning, Kim Dane had been observing everything involving Shin Haru and the King of the Night. He thought, okay, the protagonist has stepped onto the stage. He smirked wickedly and spoke into the microphone. Now then, let us move to the final, thrilling puzzle. Shall we begin? Everyone clutched their phones, praying in desperation. A man, terrified and sweating profusely. Flashback to 30 minutes earlier, when everyone was still gripped by fear. A piercing sound rang out along with Kim Dane's image. The passengers grew anxious, falling silent, afraid to make a noise. At this point, he spoke. Before we start the game, I will announce the rules. Everyone, open your phones and turn off airplane mode. Seeing the incoming message, people looked at their phones, hearts pounding. The message read, the ego sigh, meaningless quiz. There are 10 questions in total. If even one person answers all questions correctly, the bomb will be defused. But if no one gets even one question right, everyone will be wiped out. Send answers to this number. Ready, HMPH. Kim Dane continued. From now on, complete silence. No cheating, no discussing, understood. Make a sound and you are instantly eliminated. Question 1 began. On the phones appeared, how many people could the Titanic's lifeboats hold? 59-second countdown for this question. A woman tried to glance sideways, and Kim Dane immediately announced. That girl who just cheated eliminated. Panicking, she let out a sound. He announced again. You just made a noise, right? You are eliminated. So the uncle next to you gets eliminated in your place. Viewers on the livestream commented fervently. This is truly a hellish quiz game, just watching is stressful. Someone wondered, so cruel. Who said Mango Stick was a hero? He is terrifying. As the timer hit 0, Kim Dane announced. Come on, too easy, right? The answer to question 1 is 9 people. Why? He slapped his thigh in delight, laughing loudly. Because it is to save yourself. Everyone fell silent. He gloated. Too funny, huh? On the large screen appeared a seating chart of everyone. He reported. The eliminated. More than half are already out. Just like that, and you are already in chaos. Everyone needs to get more tense. Now, keep going. Next question. Time passed, and the number of eliminated grew. Some sighed in relief for passing a question, others clasped hands in prayer. Now it was the final question, with only one person left. Kim Dane said. How about it? The tension is at its peak, right? Kim Dane looked at the screen, saw Shin Haru approaching, and thought, perfect. Then he dragged out the time. Since it is the final round, let us do a quick interview, shall we? Everyone's lives rest on one man's words. That is Mr. Kim Dok Bae from Bae-dong. You are the last one remaining. How do you feel? The man called out panicked. Well. The responsibility. Kim Dane teased. Why like that? I told you, if you make a sound, what happens? The man and everyone else panicked, but he sighed in relief when Kim Dane said, oh come on, it is the last question anyway, so a small mistake like this can be forgiven. Right, everyone, but I do not like that, haha. With those words, the man was eliminated. The plane shook violently amid everyone's screams. The aircraft blazed and plummeted freely toward the sea. Kim Dane smiled triumphantly. Now, this performance is ready. Time for the hero to appear, Stardust. Yet when Shin Haru witnessed the scene, she was horrified. Her face clearly showed despair, unsure how to save everyone. Shin Haru raised her head to gaze at the object exploding in midair, then fell silent and asked, what do I do now? The association chairman on the other end of the line replied nonchalantly. What else can be done? Just give up. I am busy drafting a statement to handle the criticism right now. Damn it, the president's office is calling again, I have to hang up. Shin Haru's hand clenched in fury, then she collapsed helplessly. She thought. I thought I would stop the 100 km/h train. In the end, is my current power still not enough? Damn it, what is the right thing to do? Suddenly, Shin Haru seemed to recall a memory. In the past, in that desperate situation, the powerless girl wept bitterly over the pain of losing her loved ones. Mom, Dad, I will kill that guy no matter what. The scene was utterly tragic, a girl hugging the corpses of her closest family in a dark, narrow alley. Recalling that painful memory, Shin Haru slammed her fist into the ground, creating cracks. She gritted her teeth in rage. Back then it was the same, and now too I can't save anyone. Suddenly, a connection came through her earpiece. To her astonishment, a voice spoke from the other end. Hello, Miss Stardust. This is Egoistic. On the other side, Kim Dane stretched and yawned. He said, this terror attack is remote controlled, so it seems easier to handle. Han Seo-eun, typing on the keyboard, suddenly tensed and called out. Hey, Kim Dane Oppa. He looked over, puzzled. Yeah. Han Seo-eun turned back, pointed at the screen, and smiled. That's Stardust. No, Big Sister Stardust is frozen stiff on the ground down there. Kim Dane looked and his eyes widened in surprise. Then he suddenly grew agitated, jumped up, and shouted, startling Han Seo-eun. What is wrong, Stardust? The screen showed Shin Haru focused on her earpiece. Kim Dane seemed to realize something and quickly turned to the girl. Seo-eun, can you connect to the in-ear monitor Stardust is wearing? Han Seo-eun rapidly typed and said, I can connect, but why the rush? Kim Dane replied, no time, hurry. Back to Shin Haru, she was stunned as her earpiece emitted. Hello, Miss Stardust. This is Egoistic. She immediately flared up, shouting and cursing. You tower-blowing trash. Kim Dane on the other end continued. You have piqued my curiosity. Why are not you saving people and just standing there? It is falling now, the plane is about to crash. Shin Haru, furious, glared at the burning, plummeting aircraft and yelled. Because of what you did, and now you are telling me to stop it. Kim Dane countered. If you do not, who will? Shin Haru, so frustrated that tears streamed down. Just touching that metal falling at 1,000 km/h would shatter my body. She continued. This is your plan, is not it? You're trying to push me to my death, right? On this side, Kim Dane flashed a dangerous smile. You can do it, Shin Haru. She was stunned. What? He continued. Go ahead, clench your fists, fly up there, and save everyone. You can do it. Because it is you. Shin Haru grew even more confused. Damn it, what is this lunatic saying? In a pure white space, Kim Dane stepped toward her and asked. Why would I want to kill you? Without you, Stardust, I am just an ordinary villain. You are the one who completes me. Shin Haru was momentarily shocked by these words, then quickly pushed herself up with her knees. She thought, even if this might be a scheme to eliminate me, I will try once. As she spoke, she removed the earpiece. On the other end, Kim Dane was shocked. What? Meanwhile, Shin Haru clenched her fist, crushing the earpiece. Then she pressed her hands to the ground. With a surge of power, space began to shatter, fragments flying upward. She poured all her speed into launching like a rocket straight toward the nose of the descending plane. Shin Haru pressed her lips tightly, thinking, "That is right. If I just stand by and watch the citizens die like this, I will live my whole life burdened with guilt." Kim Dane's image appeared, confidently saying, "You can do it because it is you." Shin Haru's face was filled with determination. "It is better to sacrifice myself to protect them than to live in regret forever." Thus, the two forces collided, creating a massive shockwave in mid-air. She thought, I killed them. If I just focus a little more." A fleeting image of a happy family appeared. "My love, kids, mom, dad." The man, tears streaming, looked down at the scene, then closed his eyes as if giving up. Inside the plane, a little girl covered her ears tightly, gritting her teeth to stay conscious, peering outside. Suddenly, she froze at the window, tears falling, thinking, "The speed is slowing down." Those outside watching tensely widened their eyes. At this moment, a staff member nervously reported into the radio. "It is unclear what happened, but the plane is now being supported from the outside and is descending to the ground." A reminder sounded in the cabin. "Dear passengers, please remain seated with seat belts fastened and await instructions." In mid-air, Shin Haru was exerting all her strength to bear the terrifying weight of the plummeting plane. She gritted her teeth, veins bulging on her face. Just a little more. Scene shift to elsewhere. A hazy viewpoint gradually opened. A panicked flight attendant observed the awakening person and asked, "Mr. Kim Dok-bae, are you okay?" The man called Kim Dok-bae, just regaining consciousness, clutched his head in exhaustion, then looked around in confusion. Soon, the two stepped down from the plane together. The flight attendant supported the victim. Kim Dok-bae looked around blankly, utterly bewildered, exclaiming, "What is this?" Ahead, Shin Haru was kneeling on the ground amid curious onlookers. Kim Dok-bae cried out, "Is that?" The flight attendant looked at him, puzzled. Kim Dok-bae, tears streaming with joy, said, "That is the one who protected us, a hero." On Shin Haru's side, she looked up at the sky, panting heavily from exhaustion. Tears streamed down as she uttered, "Egoistic." The story quickly made headlines. Of course, Shin Haru's image was printed crystal clear. America was horrified, Japan was stunned, China praised it loudly, and even France had to bow in respect for this hero. Who is Stardust? China had to admit that when it came to heroes, they were completely outmatched by Korea. Even combining 10 Japanese heroes could not rival her. Japan's Minister of Internal Affairs made a shocking revelation. Accordingly, news outlets quickly picked up the heat and reported, "Hello viewers, this is the Morning 900 News opening the day. Yesterday morning, a ranked villain Egoistic remotely hijacked a plane and caused it to crash. Fortunately, all passengers were miraculously saved. The one who held the plane was none other than Stardust, our proud hero. Many experts had predicted that with her previously known abilities, she would not be able to stop the incident, but in the end, the plane slowly descended. Finally, Shin Haru returned home and heard the news about herself. She quickly turned off the TV and took a sip of water. Having just showered, she looked extremely relaxed and adorable. Suddenly, her phone rang. She picked it up right away. "Hello." After listening to the other end, she asked again, "Really?" On the other side was someone with green hair, confirming, "Yeah, I already asked the association chairman to give Shin Haru a short leave. Let us go to the beach. Relax for a day, it has been so long since we went out together like this." Shin Haru cheered happily. "Okay, I will head out tomorrow." The green-haired person added, "Yay, call Kim Chae-yun too." A moment later, Shin Haru stepped out onto the balcony to enjoy the breeze. Her expression turned serious, as if pondering something. Someone's words echoed in her memory. "You can do it because it is you." Shin Haru smiled faintly, thinking, "Has anyone ever placed that kind of faith in me before? He is just an ordinary villain." Suddenly, she realized something. Wait, but why did he tell me to save the plane? If he was sure I could stop it and save everyone, then why make it crash in the first place? Kim Dane's words resounded again. "I am just an ordinary villain. You are the one who completes me." Shin Haru held her forehead, feeling a massive headache. She thought, Egoistic has too many mysteries, but somehow, I feel like he is deliberately doing all this for some purpose. I need to thoroughly investigate his movements. Her eyes were filled with determination. Suddenly, her phone screen showed an incoming call from the Hero Association. The person on the other end spoke for a while, making Shin Haru exclaim in shock. What? Remeasure my power stats. Time quickly advanced to the next morning. Roosters crowed. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Han Seo-eun, wearing a yellow floaty around her waist, was full of excitement. We are finally here. Kim Dane came out and reminded. Seo-eun, we are just getting ready to deflate the floaty a bit. Put it in the trunk. The girl responded enthusiastically. Yes, Kim Dane Oppa. Kim Dane, seeing this, looked exasperated. Oppa, huh. Suddenly, he rubbed his chin, pondering. Now that I think about it, this is my first vacation since coming to this world. Should I enjoy it? Then Kim Dane also broke into an expectant smile. But just a short while later, looking at the congested road ahead, a resentful voice rang out. What is this? Inside the car, all three were roasted red by the heat, sweat pouring down. Kim Dane, in the driver's seat, was full of dissatisfaction. Why did the AC break today of all days? Han Seo-eun, about to faint, suggested. Oppa, can't you just teleport the whole car? Kim Dane replied in panic. I would die on the spot. Let us stop at a rest area and fix this first. Han Seo-eun, with her superhuman intellect, said. If it is too hot, I will take off my jacket. As she removed her coat, she yelled. Should have just taken the train, why overdo it like this? Kim Dane immediately countered. Too much luggage, it would not work, Seo-eun. The girl curiously opened a gray box beside her. What is this? Isn't it vacation stuff? It turned out to be a suitcase full of guns. Kim Dane gave a thumbs up with a smug look. Who knows what might happen? Han Seo-eun in the back burned with anger and shouted. What kind of trip is this? Kim Dane panicked and quickly soothed. Sorry, Seo-eun, put the gun down, then we will talk. After a series of issues on the road, the group finally arrived at the destination. Han Seo-eun had changed into a cute swimsuit, holding the yellow floaty, and rushed toward the sea excitedly. The ocean. Kim Dane sat on the shore, smiling at the sight. This really does make her look like a kid. Lee Subin popped open a can of soda and handed it to Kim Dane. I just bought drinks, have one too. She had also changed into a beautiful bikini. Kim Dane took the soda and replied. Thanks, Miss Lee Subin. Suddenly, Lee Subin kept staring at Kim Dane, making him look back in confusion. She said. I am always grateful to you, Kim Dane. He wondered. Grateful, for what? Lee Subin answered. Just for everything. Thank you for saving me back then, thank you for treating me well. However, faced with her beautiful and alluring appearance, Kim Dane was like a block of wood. He smiled, squinted, and gave a thumbs up. What are you saying? I am the one who should be thankful. You do housework for us and cook so well. Lee Subin raised her hand, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, exuding shyness. Hearing that makes me really touched. Kim Dane then swallowed hard, his expression turning suspicious as he thought. Could this be a death flag from a manga or a betrayal? He looked nervously at the soda can in his hand. Don't tell me I have been poisoned. His distorted expression left Lee Subin staring in utter confusion. Scene shift to a large building in the city. Shin Haru had appeared here. Several staff members were talking among themselves. We did not measure wrong. The data clearly shows she could not possibly stop the plane. Another staff member continued. Maybe there was a mistake somewhere. What if we have not grasped her true power yet? Shin Haru stood before a power test panel, thinking, no, the ability test is not wrong. When I stopped what seemed impossible, it is clear. As she thought, she unleashed her power, preparing to test again. The impact stunned the nearby staff as they watched. Shin Haru shouted, swinging a fist full of strength. The punch struck the test panel directly. The panel cracked under the force, screws splintering. The power surge even rippled through the surrounding space. The staff looked on in horror. Shin Haru stood before her fist and declared, I have grown stronger. On Kim Dane's side, Lee Subin sat beside him, shyly tucking her hair behind her ear and saying, hearing that makes me really touched. Seeing her expression, Kim Dane pressed his lips together nervously, thinking, Could this be a death flag from a manga or a betrayal? His face turned pale, as if he would just realized something terrifying. The sun was still blazing down below. Han Seo-eun, wearing her swim floaty, was enjoying the sea and noticed the scene on the shore. Kim Dane replied tensely to Lee Subin. Haha, I hope Miss Lee Subin will continue to help me in the future. Han Seo-eun quickly climbed ashore, pointed at the two and exposed them. Hey, you two, are you flirting and leaving me alone? Lee Subin panicked and shyly retorted. Flirting, what are you talking about, Seo-eun? Kim Dane, calm but confused. Huh. The girl, furious and fuming. If it is a family trip, we should play together. He flashed a wicked grin. Oh, is that so? Han Seo-eun, frowning, looked puzzled at that expression. The next second, Kim Dane transformed into a scary uncle, scooping up both Han Seo-eun and her floaty, making her panic. Oppa, what are you doing? Wait. Kim Dane played mischievously, tossing her far into the sea while grinning wickedly. What am I doing? Playing together, of course. Han Seo-eun plunged into the water, struggled to surface, and threw a strand of seaweed at Kim Dane's face, yelling. Water got up my nose, so annoying, seriously. Kim Dane forced a laugh, picked the seaweed off his face, and thought. It has been so long since I have had this kind of peace, it is nice. Then he bared his teeth like a demon king and jumped in to splash Han Seo-eun. Lee Subin sat on the shore, watching the scene and laughing happily. Time passed quickly and evening arrived. On the road, strange cars sped by, accompanied by voices. Tonight, where should our team strike? Busan Hotel, Mario's Royal Hyperion, Han Grand Ambassador High, all of them. The bald man in the dark space exclaimed. Let us make it a grand one. Scene shift to the Mario's Royal Hyperion Han Grand Ambassador High Hotel. Kim Dane's group, after a fun day at the beach, returned to the hotel to rest. The receptionist asked. Hello, what is the reservation name? Kim Dane replied. Probably Han Seo-eun. The receptionist smiled brightly and handed over a room keycard. Yes, confirmed. Here's the key for room 2708. Kim Dane asked in confusion. Wait, just one room. Han Seo-eun stepped up beside him, pursed her lips, whistled guiltily, and explained. Well, saving a bit of money is good, right? They let it slide. The three headed to the elevator to go to their room. Suddenly, Han Seo-eun cheered. Oh, right, the bed is super huge, so let us all sleep together. Kim Dane's eyes widened. There is only one bed. Lee Subin, though excited and looking forward to it, remained calm and said. It has been a while, sleeping three to a bed will be fun. Whatever. Kim Dane sweated profusely, looking at them. Yeah, we have never slept together before. In his mind, he silently prayed. Nothing will happen, right? Really, nothing will happen. What am I even expecting? Haha. The three actually slept together on the bed. Han Seo-eun lay in the middle, sleeping soundly and even snoring. Kim Dane was closing his eyes to rest when suddenly whispers came from outside the door. Wait, I want this room. Then came countdown sounds. 1, 2. Two robbers, fully masked and holding guns, kicked the door open and shouted. FBI, open up. Kim Dane flicked a finger upward, instantly sending the two flying backward with impacts to their chins. A moment later, Kim Dane sat up, rubbed his eyes, yawned, and said. Where the hell did these guys come from? The two lay motionless, unconscious on the floor. Kim Dane cautiously peeked outside and saw guests from other rooms, still in pajamas, being dragged away by the FBI. Move it, kids. He sighed. Terrorism, seriously. Then he gritted his teeth and crushed the doorframe. Damn it, I only go on 2 trips, and both times something stupid happens. On his phone screen, Kim Dane was searching for information. He exclaimed, wait, why is Shadow Walker still here, and they dare cause trouble at night? The screen showed news. Shocking news, a rank hero Shadow Walker found collapsed in Western Incheon. Han Seo-eun, now awake, yawned and asked. What is going on? Terrorism. Kim Dane replied. Yeah. In his mind, he rolled his eyes. Nothing surprises me anymore. He reminded her. Wait, I will check the parking lot. Wake Lee Subin and wait in the room. Han Seo-eun, still groggy and rubbing her eyes. Terrorism on a trip. Okay, I will follow orders. Kim Dane appeared in his car. He looked outside and saw the terrorists rummaging near the vehicles. He thought, can't just sneak away without handling this. Kim Dane rummaged and pulled out a bizarre mask, flashing a wicked expression. Didn't expect the spare mask to come in handy right away. He said, "You bastards ruined our vacation, show your faces." After grabbing his gear, Kim Dane returned to the hotel room. The two girls were awake and sitting properly. Kim Dane tossed equipment to them and announced, "Receive orders via in-ear. Let us go, everyone." His expression was extremely delighted. Han Seo-eun, looking exasperated, sighed. You get so excited at times like this. In the hotel lobby, the terrorists had piled chairs into a small mountain. The leader, Monkey Spanner, an A-rank villain, sat atop it. Below, subordinates held guns pointed in all directions. Monkey Spanner stroked his beard and spoke. "Ready." Two underlings nodded. He praised. "Good." Then he shouted loudly, pointing downward. "Declare to the Hero Association and the government, we are holding hundreds of hostages here. If the money is not transferred to the provided account immediately, everyone dies." Below, the hotel guests, tied up and kneeling on the floor, were hostages. Monkey Spanner continued yelling. "The account number is 1, 2. Suddenly, a noise rang out, making both hostages and terrorists look in one direction. Monkey Spanner grew wary, closed his mouth, and paid attention to the sound. Kim Dane, now wearing an orange mask, stepped out clapping and cheering. "Enough, this lame terrorism ends here." He raised his hand, generating a surge of energy. Instantly, a gun in a terrorist's hand was pulled away by the force. Then countless guns were controlled by that power, their barrels aimed at the terrorists' foreheads. Kim Dane swung his fist upward, releasing a surge of power throughout the vast hotel lobby. Inside, the hostages screamed in terror from the event. Kim Dane's pupils glowed purple. He was a bit tense, thinking, just this already used up months of stored external force. Then he leapt up, charging to strike Monkey Spanner. Kim Dane kicked him to the floor and took his seat. Looking down from above, he flashed a demonic smile. "Weaklings like you dare commit terrorism." Suddenly, Monkey Spanner's eyes flashed red. He drew a gun and aimed straight at Kim Dane. A gunshot rang out, a bullet lodging directly into his stomach, leaving even Kim Dane stunned as he looked down at the wound. Quickly, a mad laugh echoed. "Ha ha ha, just one bullet." Kim Dane's expression left Monkey Spanner stunned. Sitting up there with the bullet still lodged in his stomach, he calmly smiled and asked, "That is all you have got?" Monkey Spanner now seemed like a giant who could control everything in his palm. Up top, Kim Dane secretly broke into a cold sweat. Behind the mask, his face was twisted in pain. He thought, "Damn it, this is dangerous. If I move now, I will bleed out and die." Down below, Monkey Spanner started moving his feet, his instincts urging, "Gotta get out now." He calculated inwardly. "You bastard, I planned to strike fast while Shadow Walker was away. Could I be on his hit list too? That is why he is hiding here." Up top, Kim Dane endured the pain, smiling and saying, "You seem pretty tense. I will give you a chance to run if you can." Monkey Spanner gritted his teeth, raised his fist, and demanded, "What are you plotting?" Kim Dane continued, "Plotting my ass, what you are racking your brain over is the real plot. You ruined my vacation. Don't bother me, withdraw while you still can." In his mind, he urgently pushed the opponent. "Please, stop overthinking, just go. Even keeping my eyes open is making me dizzy." Monkey Spanner calculated again. "This is my chance. Right, just amp up my power and I can turn this around anytime." Then, to the hostages' shock and horror, he turned into a blur like the Flash, charging straight for the hotel exit, thinking, "I, Monkey Spanner, will one day be the king of Korea. I can't die here." But from the entrance, a fist swung in, accompanied by sharp glass shards. The punch sent Monkey Spanner flying backward with tremendous force. His body deformed like a misfired rocket. Shin Haru had arrived just in time, loudly warning the terrorists, "You are surrounded, drop your weapons and surrender." But looking down, she saw the terrorists already sprawled out. At that moment, a pair of straight legs stepped in. Shin Haru was bewildered by the situation. "Ice, the A-rank hero, said coldly. Huh, all dead already." Shadow Walker, the A-rank hero beside her, looked disappointed. "So boring, they're all down, fake intel and they still terrorize." Shadow Walker noticed Kim Dane sitting atop the pile of chairs and asked, "But who is that guy?" Kim Dane was now dazed, pink bubbles floating around, looking down and thinking, "Why is she here?" Shin Haru frowned, looked up, and asked, "Who are you? Did you subdue these terrorists?" Kim Dane pressed hard on his wound, thinking, "If I do not focus, I will die right here, Kim Dane." Luckily, they did not seem to know he was egoistic, so he stalled for time. Just need to recover enough for 2 teleports. On the other side, Han Seo-eun and Lee Subin were tensely listening through the earpiece. Outside, Kim Dane kept up his dangerous act, saying, "You ask who I am. I am an S-rank hero secretly operating in Korea." This made the 3 below look up in shock. Shin Haru quickly pointed and exposed, "There is no record of an S-rank hero in the association. What nonsense are you spouting? Who are you really?" Kim Dane calmly replied, "A rank hero Stardust. Do not you know what secret means? A rank hero Ice. A rank hero Shadow Walker the first have been active since before your generation." Han Seo-eun, confused, asked through the earpiece, "Kim Dane Oppa, what the heck are you doing?" Lee Subin frowned, worried. Outside, Kim Dane remained arrogant. "You should greet your senior properly, these kids are clueless." Shin Haru looked up with annoyance and suspicion. He shook his head, feigning disappointment. "Ha, your faces say you do not get it. Fine, I will introduce myself. Listen up, I am the hero." His eyes darted to a boy wearing a t-shirt with apple mango printed on the back. An image of a delicious fruit flashed. Kim Dane blurted out the name. Apple Mango. The freed guests heard it and their expressions began loading at the name. Ice, receiving info through her earpiece, responded, "Yes, yes. He says he is Apple Mango." Then she coldly beckoned and exposed, "Hey, you, they say there is no hero with that alias. Who are you really?" Kim Dane shouted angrily. "Insolent, I even know the association chairman's real name is Park Manjun, now Park Manjun. Right, my name was too rustic, so I changed it, check already." This stunned all 3. Inside, he was very tense. Didn't expect original story info to come in handy like this. Ice replied, "Anyway, the chairman says he does not know you." At that moment, a guest spoke up, voice full of dissatisfaction. "Hey, heroes, I have been watching and I am pissed, so I have to say something." Ice panicked, sweating. Everyone stay calm." The guest continued. "That masked guy subdued the bad guys for us, who he is does not matter." Kim Dane screamed inwardly, "Oh God, perfect, mister, just a bit more recovery and I can escape." The man continued, "And I saw him make the guns float in the air and shoot everywhere." He pondered. "What was it? Oh, he is like that guy who appears on TV a lot." Shin Haru caught the key point, while Kim Dane froze awkwardly. The man below gave a thumbs up toward him. But so what, thinking back, it felt awesome. Kim Dane screamed inwardly, "Stop, stop." Ice smirked faintly. "Aha, sounds pretty suspicious." Kim Dane secretly tensed, sweating. "Just a little more." The 3 below began emitting power. "First, let us restrain him, then reveal his identity." Ice extended her hand, shooting power forward, a pillar of ice pinned to the floor. Kim Dane gritted his teeth, thinking, "Freeze." Shadow Walker had silently approached from behind. Kim Dane, clutching his wound, screamed inwardly, "Please, please teleport." Shin Haru's eyes sharpened, staring at the opponent, then rocketed toward him like a missile. Kim Dane, face twisted, was extremely anxious about the situation. At that moment, Kim Dane managed to use his power, teleporting down below and evading the restraint. Han Seo-eun and Lee Subin appeared just in time to support him. Then, the 2 quickly vanished, taking the injured Kim Dane away from the scene. A moment later, their car sped off wildly. The group tumbled inside the vehicle. Han Seo-eun, eyes spinning dizzily and unable to sit steady, hurriedly asked, "Oppa, are you okay?" Kim Dane, face twisted in pain, said, "The car, right now, quickly erase all evidence we were in Busan. Hotel check-in records, CCTV if they find out." At this point, he could not continue. The 2 girls looked up in panic. Oppa, what is wrong?" Blood from his abdominal wound kept flowing. Lee Subin shouted, "We need to get him to a hospital now." Kim Dane tried to stop them. "No way, I do not have strength left to teleport." We will definitely get caught. Take me to Ego Base. Lee Subin gritted her teeth tensely, steering while loudly instructing Han Seo-eun. Seo-eun, first get the first aid kit and do emergency treatment. Han Seo-eun, tears welling up as if seeing a traumatic scene, was urged by Lee Subin, who turned back and yelled, "Hurry!" The girl regained her composure, quickly wiping her tears. Yes, yes. Lee Subin, face serious, floored the accelerator. I will get us out of here first. On the pitch-black road, the car raced like lightning. Back in the hotel lobby, the hostages were being calmed by arriving police. Ice stood aside and sighed. Seriously rare vacation, and these villains won't let us rest a single day. Shadow Walker, face darkened, asked, "Can I go rest a bit?" She turned and replied, "Yeah, good work. It is my fault for dragging you here to unwind." Ice turned to Shin Haru. "Anyway, we are here now, Stardust." Meanwhile, Shin Haru pressed her lips together, silent and oblivious to her surroundings. On the road, a car was driving. The sleepy driver yawned. So tired, chew some gum. Suddenly, he spotted another car in the rearview mirror. What is that? The car sped past like smoke. The driver yelled, "That car's insane." The speedometer now exceeded 220 kilometers per hour. Han Seo-eun tried to treat Kim Dane's wound. Lee Subin, expression fearsome, gripped the wheel. At this point, he was covered in blood, the wound still bleeding despite bandaging, sweat beading from pain. Meanwhile, Shin Haru clenched her fist tightly, seriously saying, "I need to look into his movements a bit." Scene shift to the past, in Kim Dane's room. A voice exclaimed, "Villains again, villains. They harass Stardust in every way." Kim Dane slammed the book shut, lay on the bed with a blank face, and said, "So it ends like this." This was 19-year-old Kim Dane in the past, with dark circles under his eyes. This story is full of ultimate depression. That ending. The comic fell to the floor. Kim Dane rolled around on the bed, whining, "Stardust." He muttered something, then dozed off. At that moment, a flash of light streaked across the night sky through the window. Scene shift to the present, in some building. Han Seo-eun was worried about Kim Dane's condition. Her face was pale from exhaustion. Lee Subin brought a tray of food, but the girl refused. "I am not eating." Lee Subin persuaded. "Seo-eun, eat a little. Kim Dane will wake up." Kim Dane lay unconscious in the glass bed. Han Seo-eun covered her face and sobbed. Lee Subin sat beside her, heartbroken and comforting. As the girl cried while forcing down rice, a voice suddenly rang out. "You still eat so well, are Seo-eun." Kim Dane turned his head, smiled, and said, "And I am about to die here." The two girls looked over in shock. Han Seo-eun wailed again, crying loudly while flailing and punching Kim Dane. Lee Subin sat beside, emotional. He could only smile bitterly and cry out in pain. Ouch. Outside, the sky remained pitch black. An image appeared of Kim Dane wearing a white mask, holding a golden one. Online news flooded about him. Is Egostick's zero casualty terrorism really terrorism? Shin Haru sat before the computer screen, searching news, thinking. Yeah, the plane incident had no casualties either. She wondered. What if Egostick's call had not come and I could not act? Kim Dane's image appeared, smiling. You can do it because it is you. Shin Haru lowered her head, tense. He believed I would definitely succeed, as if he knew my power would increase. Then she suddenly smirked and said. How could he know? Probably just coincidence. She clenched her fist. But I have undeniably grown stronger. She picked up someone's info sheet, thinking. Another suspicious point. The villains Egostick killed each had potential for large-scale disaster someday, and he saw that. Shin Haru concluded. Egostick is definitely not a hero, but calling him a mere villain is not satisfying. I have a feeling he is playing a massive chess game. Next terrorism, I must unmask him no matter what. Shin Haru was extremely determined. On Han Seo-eun's side, the girl was thoughtfully browsing her phone. So what is the purpose of those terror acts? Egostick knows the Hero Association chairman's real name, Park Manjun. Could Egostick have been a high-rank hero in the past, conflicted with the association, and switched to villain? The conspiracy theory Egostick conflicted with the Hero Association was spreading. The three sat at the dining table. Hearing that info, Kim Dane nearly choked. Seo-eun. He thought. I am gonna throw up. Lee Subin forced a smile and put away her phone. Seo-eun, do not bother Kim Dane for now, he is very tired. The girl, still dissatisfied, questioned. What are you planning? The usual, I am a villain. I have to act like one, and keep terrorizing with that body. Again. Kim Dane jumped at her expression. Seo-eun, I. He was speechless. Suddenly, both girls stared at him with sharp eyes. Kim Dane had to decide. We will rest a bit, about 3 months. This relaxed their faces, delighted. Really? He continued eating and affirmed. Yeah, pause for a while. With current public attention, if I disappear for a time, things will cool down. In his mind, he thought. And during the break, recruit new members. An image of a mysterious person appeared. Kim Dane calculated. If left like this, in the future, he will become a villain causing major imbalance. If not kill, then pull to our side. Very quickly, 3 months passed. An announcement blared. Villain sighted. Stardust, prepare to deploy. Shin Haru hurriedly asked. Is it egoistic? The other end denied. No, a villain calling himself Lockboom. Hearing that, she replied disappointedly. Ah, got it. Later, in hero form, Shin Haru rocketed through the sky like a missile. As she flew, she wondered. Egoistic. Where have you been and what have you been doing these past 3 months? Scene shift to Kim Dane's house. He was staring at a large TV screen showing Shin Haru's image. Oh, here she comes, here she comes. Kim Dane munched popcorn, excited like watching a movie. Han Seo-eun sat beside him, looking exasperated. At that moment, a monster called Lock Boom, an A-rank villain, unleashed power and roared. Kim Dane cheered through the screen. Go for it, Stardust. Meanwhile, Shin Haru charged at Lock Boom, yelling. Are you egoistic? No. Shin Haru fell into a rage, pummeling the opponent to pieces. Soon, on the ground lay a bald guy, eyes rolled back, unconscious. Kim Dane, thrilled, tossed the popcorn tube up and cheered. Look at that, yay, the power-up was totally worth it, Stardust. Han Seo-eun frowned, fed up. Is that really so fun? Kim Dane flinched, guilty. Kinda. Suddenly, the girl loudly reminded, making him spit water. Now, work time. Han Seo-eun continued. Oppa, I can't stand you lurking in Stardust's fan club all day. Kim Dane looked over, flustered. What, Seo-eun? Han Seo-eun spoke darkly. Kim Dane, leader of Stardust Group. Thought I would not know, I am a famous hacker. Exposed, Kim Dane snatched the remote, turned off the screen and defended. Just a little hobby. The girl repeated. Anyway, we plan to work today. Kim Dane sat up and asked. Let us see, today's the 17th, right? The girl grew excited. What, terrorism? Kim Dane denied. No. Han Seo-eun asked again. Then eliminating a villain. He denied again. Nope. Kim Dane flashed a bright smile and said. We are recruiting a new member. Scene shift to a high vantage point overlooking the town. An elderly couple admired the view below. The man sighed. Oh, this place has not changed. Same as 20 years ago. At that moment, a girl in a cap, head down, face unclear, bumped into the man and said. Sorry. He waved it off. No problem, I am fine, student. But after she passed, she held a wallet. The girl had green pupils. Glancing down, she saw a group of thugs, each with a cigarette, leering up at her sleazily. The girl gritted her teeth in anger. Right then, a boy with clear green pupils like hers appeared, running over with a bright smile, calling. Sis. The boy, Cha-yoon, 13 years old. The girl pinched his cheek and asked. Having fun? The boy replied cheerfully. Yeah. She noticed his scraped knee. Knees scratched. Where'd you get hurt? Cha-yoon innocently said. I tripped on the road, I guess. The girl extended her hand, emitting healing power, reminding. Seriously, be more careful next time. Cha-yoon watched the knee wound heal and exclaimed in awe. Wow. Soon, the tear vanished completely. The girl removed her cap, put it on Cha-yoon, and said. Go home first, okay. The boy nodded obediently. Okay. Removing the cap revealed a beautiful orange-haired girl. She smiled and instructed. Sis will buy tasty food and come back. Introduction. This is Lee Ha-yeon, who later becomes the villain Green Frog. Sometime later, night fell. Lee Ha-yeon returned with a bag of food, opened the door smiling, calling, Cha-yoon, I bought yummy tteokbokki for you. Suddenly, Lee Ha-yeon's face paled at the sight inside. A voice came from within. Knew it, this kid. The food bag dropped. Inside was the Wild Dogs gang from the dam area. Cha-yoon was restrained by a masked man. One spoke. Stealing wallets in our turf, if I find you hiding anything else, I will send you to hell. Got it. This guy, with mismatched eyes, looked comical but acted dangerous. Lee Ha-yeon, terrified, still shouted. Enough! Let Cha-yoon go and take all that stuff, get out. The guy sighed, bored. Look at this chick. He yanked Cha-yoon's hair hard, making the boy scream in pain. The guy took pleasure in others' suffering. Hey, little bitch. Lee Ha-yeon was then restrained by two others charging in. She yelled. You bastards. The guy kept gripping Cha-yoon's head, saying, Look, your sis does not seem to get what is happening, huh? The scarred eye guy held a knife to Cha-yoon's throat. Today, I will teach you a lesson. Lee Ha-yeon, horrified, screamed. No, I was wrong, please. The scarred eye guy cruelly raised the knife. Too late, you bitch. Cha-yoon closed his eyes in despair. Suddenly, a force yanked the knife from his hand. Stunned, he glanced back, only to be hit by a force sending him crashing forward into the wall. Then, dangerous gun barrels hovered over the heads of the Wild Dogs gang. Cha-yoon seized the moment, broke free, and rushed forward. Lee Ha-yeon hugged the boy tightly, emotionally calling, Cha-yoon. Kim Dane appeared outside their yard. He thought. Day 17, Friday today, Cha-yoon was supposed to be killed by that gang. Lee Ha-yeon would blacken and turn villain. Good thing I came early if late, big disaster. Cha-yoon looked outside, saw him, and exclaimed in shock. See, could it be? Lee Ha-yeon turned, protectively blocking Cha-yoon, demanding, Are you egoistic? Kim Dane flashed a villainous smile. Nice to meet Ha-yeon and Cha-yoon. I am here to take you two with me. Lee Ha-yeon's face darkened upon hearing that, and she shouted. Why are you taking us with you? You are clearly a cruel villain too. Kim Dane calmly explained. Why, of course, to save you too. Didn't you see what just happened? Besides, if the police show up, it will be a huge hassle. She intended to refuse. Even if I die, I won't go. Hey, you bastard, what are you planning to do? Then Cha-yoon dashed out like a gust of wind. Lee Ha-yeon was thunderstruck by the sight, hurriedly yelling, Cha-yoon, no. The image in her eyes was Cha-yoon rushing toward a dangerous, malicious demon. By then, Cha-yoon had run up to Kim Dane, grabbing his hand tightly and exclaiming, Egoistic, I am in the Mango fan club. The boy looked at him with a face full of immense admiration and pride. Even Kim Dane felt flustered by the boy's affection. Huh. Very quickly, Kim Dane brought the two siblings to his hideout, then introduced them to the remaining members. Alright, so these are our new members. Say hello, everyone. Cha-yoon, eyes sparkling, cheered. Wow, there is even Ego's cyber-terrorist beauty here. Lee Subin broke out in a cold sweat at this nickname. Cha-yoon's eyes still shone as he admired. So that person is a hacker. Lee Ha-yeon carefully bowed in greeting. Hello everyone. I am Lee Ha-yeon. This is my younger brother, Cha-yoon. Han Seo-eun, with a serious expression, as if appraising the goods. The new member with healing abilities turns out to be a girl. A while later, the five of them had become more harmonious. Kim Dane happily opened the fridge. Mango. Cha-yoon still kept his excited expression. As expected, it is mango. Han Seo-eun stared ahead, thinking. Just like the first time I met Kim Dane. Lee Ha-yeon sat nearby, still very tense and vigilant. Kim Dane, by the fridge, tilted his head back to chug the juice. Seeing this, Han Seo-eun bared her teeth and roared menacingly. Don't put your mouth right on it and suck like that. Making Kim Dane jolt in surprise, spitting it all out. It is mango juice, this is mine. Han Seo-eun, even knowing she had overreacted, grumbled a reminder. Well, be more careful next time. Lee Subin gently brought out a plate of peeled apples, cheerfully asking. Cha Yun, do you want some fruit? The boy's eyes shone even brighter. Wow, thank you. Cha Yun quickly grabbed a fork and speared a piece of apple. Lee Ha Yun, with a tense face, called out, Cha Yun. The boy, mouth wide open taking a big bite, chewed while looking over with a puzzled expression. Huh. Lee Ha Yun helplessly turned away, her expression still full of worry. Never mind. Kim Dane smiled brightly and called. Seo-eun, Miss Lee Subin. I am going to have a serious talk with them for a bit. Could you two step out first? Han Seo-eun stuck out her tongue, playfully mimicking his words. Could you step out for a bit? Kim Dane felt at a loss for words with her personality. Lee Subin, go with her to the main house first. Let us do that. A moment later, only 3 people remained in the room. Kim Dane sat facing the siblings and spoke first. Lee Ha Yun, you killed the orphanage director and then ran away, right? These words made Lee Ha Yun frown, on guard. Kim Dane continued. I have investigated everything. That director often abused you too. Coming to you was not random. I have a purpose. She asked suspiciously. What purpose? Kim Dane declared. So you two can live happily. Lee Ha Yun frowned, staring at him, exclaiming in shock. What? Kim Dane smiled and continued. Of course not in this cramped underground place. I have set up a teleportation gate. We will move to the main house, live there, and go to school too. Lee Ha Yun found him highly suspicious and questioned. In the end, why are you doing this for us? We only met today. Kim Dane thought of Han Seo-eun, then said. Because I have a little sister too, that is why. Cha Yun's eyes sparkled. I have watched all of Mango Egoistic's terror attacks, I have re-watched them dozens of times. Kim Dane awkwardly replied. Is that so? Thanks. In his mind, he panicked. Should I really let an elementary school kid watch stuff like that? Lee Ha Yun glared and reminded. Cha Yun. Kim Dane spoke up again. Just try living together once. It will be more fun than you think. We are not as bad as you imagine. Cha Yun clasped his hands tightly, full of anticipation for the bright life ahead. Lee Ha Yun seemed to have thought seriously. All right. A bit later, Kim Dane led the siblings to a location. This way. A secret door opened, revealing a mysterious spatial gate. Kim Dane turned back, smiling brightly, and told them. Follow me. He stepped into the gate, his body gradually disappearing. Lee Ha Yun, face still very tense, while Cha Yun excitedly jumped to the gate's entrance, turned back to wave. Sis, are not you coming? I am going first. Making Lee Ha Yun panic and call out. Cha Yun. She sighed helplessly, finally deciding to step in after everyone. A bit later, Lee Ha Yun climbed the stairs, face full of astonishment. Before her was Cha Yun standing and looking out the glass door, sunlight pouring in brilliantly and warmly. Kim Dane asked. Do you like it? This will be our home. Cha Yun seems to love it. I stay on the 3rd floor, and you on the 2nd. There are 2 rooms for you too. No need to worry about tuition. At your age, you should be in school anyway. I have plenty of money. Lee Ha Yun looked at him, still with suspicion. Kim Dane continued speaking gently. If it feels awkward, just stay a few days and see. If you want to go back, you can refuse anytime, okay? Lee Ha Yun stared wide-eyed at him. Suddenly, she felt a chill, face paling, recalling the image of the scarred man holding a knife to Cha Yun's throat earlier. I will teach you brats a lesson. Back then, the boy had been utterly desperate, eyes shut tight. The image of Cha Yun now, utterly joyful, appeared. Lee Ha Yun accepted, nodding and replying. Thank you very much. Kim Dane patted her shoulder, reassuring. No problem, let us live well together. On the other side, Kim Dane put on a triumphant villainous expression. Recruitment successful. Unexpectedly, he scratched his head, bewildered. I feel like I forgot something. What was it? Time had reached nighttime, the moon high in the sky. On the online screen was the info from what he did today. What are heroes doing today? Hero bulletin, is Egoistic really dead? Mango belly. No way, it has been nearly 4 months with no sign. Come back, 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 come back. 8 comments. Comment 1, first time missing a villain's terror attacks. Comment 2, not a villain. He is a hero. Comment 3, but seriously, Why has not he shown up, retired or what? Shin Haru was still sitting in front of the computer screen, with disappointment. Where the hell are you and what are you doing, egoistic? Her expression frowned, waiting to the point of nearly losing all patience. In Paravad na Angliski, s sorananium vise original ni detaile. In a laboratory, two people stood still, observing a strange creature inside a tank of liquid. Someone spoke up. Every time I see it, I am amazed. The bespectacled mad doctor burst into wild laughter. The white-haired man beside him said, "Intel Drive. Kim Son is released, we will complete this project. We will present the perfected behemoth to him." The creature inside the liquid chamber stirred. The white-haired man muttered, "If that happens, then Korea. No, the entire world will kneel before our Han-Un Corporation." The madman touched the sphere, his other hand raised as if to seize everything. The doctors around him immediately laughed loudly. One declared, "No one can stop us." At Lee Subin's house, blinding sunlight poured straight into the home. Someone was holding a knife, hands swiftly slicing mushrooms into thin, even pieces. Lee Subin smiled and said to Hale, "You could just rest, you know." The girl flinched and replied, "No need, this way I feel more at ease." Lee Subin smiled. "Thank you." Hale bowed her head and sighed. Lee Subin smiled again. "Thanks to you, we prep faster and finish earlier." The girl looked sadly at Lee Subin and thought, the beautiful woman kidnapped by Egoistic. Hale recalled 4 months had passed since the incident. She thought of the article she would read. The villain took responsibility and compensated with money. The public fell into chaos. Hale looked at Lee Subin standing peacefully beside her and reassured herself. "But I am still living happily and well." All the fierce rumors about what he was up to became meaningless. At that moment, Hale heard a cry. "Bro, hold my hand for a sec." Kim Dane immediately said, "Snap out of it and walk on your own, Seo-un. You will get hurt." The girl watched Kim Dane struggling with Seo-un and fell into thought. And the true identity of Egoistic was Kim Dane. He tugged at Seo-un's shirt and asked, "We finally cleaned up a bright place like this, so why do you still like sleeping in the basement?" The genius girl mumbled in response, "You always talk about that ego base or whatever." Then he pulled her shirt again. Breakfast time. The food was served. Kim Dane stared at it and shouted, "Meat for breakfast, this is awesome." Hale thought sadly, "One day, if someone comes back injured with my healing ability." She lowered her head, looked at her hands, and fell silent. Hale clenched her fists as if resolving to do something. After eating, Kim Dane lay on the bed, deep in thought. Soon. It is almost time to prepare to deal with the black disaster that the Han-Un Corporation created. He rested his head on his hand in frustration, staring at the calendar hanging on the wall. At that moment, someone violently pushed open the door. A voice rang out. "Hiding in here all this time?" Mango stick flag wielding Seo-un yelled. "Right now, let us do a terror attack, I am dying of boredom." Kim Dane pondered, let out a small sound, then suddenly declared, "All right, let us do it. Get ready for a terror attack." She froze and asked, For real?" Kim Dane sat up, a smile forming on his lips. He called out loudly, "Everyone, assemble." A moment later, in the meeting room, Kim Dane stood with arms crossed in front of a whiteboard. Hale hesitated, but her question made everyone freeze. "From the beginning, why do you all do terror attacks?" Kim Dane cheerfully replied, "If you ask the reason for terrorism, I have to answer. Right." Someone immediately stopped him. "Stop, that is enough, okay." Seo-un rudely said. "Old man, get to the point already." Kim Dane suddenly said, "From now on, I am not Big Brother anymore." Then he answered Hale's question. "Hale, actually, we are villains." The girl was speechless, thinking, "I see." Kim Dane continued. "So we had to do terrorism, but we must not let civilians get hurt. I still need to stage dilemmas suitable for Stickschild, and also drag Stardust into it." The girl, Seo-un, cut in boldly. "This has to be a terror attack that has a positive impact on her." So he summarized loudly. "Thank you, Seo-un." The genius girl suddenly teased. "You did not just swear, did you? Must have misheard." He silently thought. "I did just swear." Then he uncapped a marker and said, Anyway, I will draw a bridge on the board. And continued. The theme for this terror attack: will Seoul University collapse? Lee Subin looked at the image on the board and asked, Seoul University Bridge. He drew a monster and replied, yes. Because Kim Dane then drew a landmass and continued. Right here, at Yeouido, this winter a giant monster will appear and head north, sweeping across the entire peninsula in one go. He drew an explosion and ended with the letter N. But what if we terrorize and collapse Seoul University Bridge? He continued, illustrating the monster sleeping, then exploding. The monster's weakness is water. That'll be both terrorism and conveniently villainous. In summary, best of both worlds, profit for people and goods. Seo Eun spoke up. As always, where did you get this info? Kim Dane took out a hat, made a dramatic gesture, and replied, that is a trade secret. The genius girl laughed loudly. Feels like eliminating a villain while doing terrorism. And this time, it is not even for that little Stardust. Kim Dane, at a loss, reminded her. Stop with the little this, little that. Seo Eun smiled brightly and asked, all right, boss has decided, right? Kim Dane also smiled and replied, what do we have plenty of? She wondered. Time. Kim Dane rubbed his thumb and index finger together and answered, money. A moment later, the live stream went online. The instant Kim Dane appeared as Egoistic, viewers went wild in the comments. In front of the camera, Egoistic floated in mid-air. A speaker hovered before him. Egoistic, voted #1 by the Korean Association. He smiled and continued. I, Egoistic, am back. You all know what I am going to do, right? From a car, the speaker broadcast Egoistic's voice. What will I do here on Seoul University Bridge? Of course, a bombing terror attack. The driver slammed on the brakes and shouted. Terrorism. Cars about to enter the bridge stopped immediately. Egoistic smiled, pressed a button, and said, everyone, cease all actions. The bridge exploded instantly, debris flying everywhere. Egoistic cheerfully said. Seems inviting guests to support the game is done. One viewer commented suspiciously. Who is lucky enough to be invited as a guest? Egoistic immediately announced. The participants in the game are all the honest citizens nationwide watching this broadcast, that is you. He explained the simple participation method. Send your account number via the reference link in the video, and I will instantly transfer 100,000 won to you. But the live viewers were stunned by Egoistic's words. If before 7 p.m. tonight, more than 500,000 people have received 100,000 won from me, I will blow up this bridge immediately. Some were thrilled, others shocked and terrified. Egoistic continued. Of course, those stuck there will go down with it. He stood before the nearly collapsing bridge and said, choose. Do you want 100,000 won for free, or do you want the bridge to explode at any moment? He declared. Thus, the choice of the citizens of Korea, 100,000 won versus Seoul University Bridge officially begins. Egoistic smiled and said, ah, and Stardust, you do not need to come today. Just rest, okay. A commenter teased. My girl will be protected by me. Another user commented. Mango Stick, the sweet criminal, guarantees Stardust gets a break. Someone else laughed. I am the hero, you are the villain. Telling me not to come, do you think I will just agree? Egoistic stretched, smiling cheerfully as he thought, those crazy villains must be thrilled they're getting less hassle, right? Suddenly, someone rushed toward him. Egoistic looked at the person who appeared and called out in surprise. Stardust. He nearly dropped the remote. Egoistic panicked inwardly. The detonator. He looked at Stardust, realizing it had been a long time since he last saw her. The two stared at each other, falling completely silent. Stardust glared at Egoistic. The pressure weighed heavily on him. He hesitantly called. Stardust. She remained silent, staring at him with icy eyes. Egoistic froze, panicking under her gaze. What is going on? Elsewhere, someone asked. Section Chief Kim, what are you doing, smoking? Section Chief Kim bounced around, pointing at his phone and saying. Chief, look at this. The chief asked, what is this? The article headline read. Commemorating Mango Stick's return at Seoul University Bridge with a charity event. Leave your account number in the reference link to receive 100,000 won. On social media, people were even posting proof screenshots. Section Chief Kim explained. Just enter your account number here and you instantly get 100,000 won. The chief was stunned. Let me see. If more than 500,000 people accept, the bridge blows up, Seoul University Bridge will explode. Section Chief Kim asked. Yes. Do you know Egostick? Then he swiped to another forwarded livestream post. Commemorating Mango Stick's return at Seoul University Bridge with a charity event. Leave your account number in the reference link to receive 100,000 won. Again, social media had proof screenshots. Section Chief Kim said. That guy is currently doing some kind of terror attack at Seoul University Bridge. The chief exclaimed. That self-proclaimed villain, good grief. What kind of game is this? Who would actually accept this? Section Chief Kim immediately grinned and replied. I just did 100,000 won. The chief roared in anger. What, you? Why would you do that? Seeing the chief's fury, Section Chief Kim instantly bowed deeply and shouted. Sorry, chief. The chief winked and said. Too slow. I claimed it the moment the news dropped. What do you take me for? Section Chief Kim gave a thumbs up and laughed. Chief, you scared me. You are a great actor. The chief laughed loudly. With this added, there is no way it will exceed 500,000. Company dinner tonight. Section Chief Kim replied. Yes, sir. Elsewhere, a woman was on the phone. Son, are you eating dinner? What, my account? She squinted at her phone screen and muttered. Oh my, why all of a sudden, who gives pocket money like this? A notification showed money received. She gasped. Oh heavens, it is real. What is Egostick? On the bridge, the fire from the explosion still raged. Egostick wrapped his cloak around himself. He shivered and muttered. Didn't expect it to be this cold. He paused. But Stardust is still standing there with arms crossed, watching me. Egostick complained. That stare feels like needles. She is probably waiting for me to blow the bridge before acting, right? Why do I feel even colder? He turned to look at her and pondered. Why is she staring like that? This did not happen in the original story. Is there some event tied to Seoul University Bridge? Egostick thought. Didn't expect her to be this angry. I feel guilty. He pulled down his hat and told himself. But there is no other way. It is all for Stardust for her sake. With the Black Disaster's power as described in the original story, she could not stop it right now. Egostick recalled the Black Disaster. Its first appearance in the original was devastating. Unlike those entertaining superhero timekillers, this was the spark signaling the story would turn much darker. He opened his phone and muttered. Anyway, let us check. Egostick was inwardly shocked. 450,000 people already, and there are still 3 hours left. He teleported beneath the bridge and sighed. The people in this world are beyond words. Egostick rubbed his neck and sighed inwardly. I thought it would succeed even without my interference. Are they really going to let greed kill them, seriously? He turned on the live stream and spoke. Good citizens of Korea, do you really think you have received 100,000 won? Comments flooded in. Yes. Is it real? Of course. Egostick touched a car and asked. You have not forgotten, have you? He tapped on a car window and declared, let us interview a potential sacrifice keeping the conscience of the audience out there, shall we? The car window slowly rolled down. Egostick looked inside and thought. From here on, it is out of control. No one else should be climbing onto this bridge, right? He laughed loudly and asked. Oh my, hello sir, thank you for your hard work. Could you introduce yourself? The black-haired man inside smiled and replied. Yes, hello. I am Choi Young-jin. Egostick was stunned. Why is not he showing any sign of worry, this guy? He leaned against the car and asked. Nice to meet you, Choi Young-jin. In a life-threatening situation like this, do not you feel nervous or anxious? Young-jin suddenly burst out laughing. Egostick was inwardly shocked. Why is he laughing? Young-jin smiled so brightly it practically glowed and said, why worry, if the viewers do not take the money, Seoul University Bridge and I will be safe, right? Egostick covered his face and thought. I apologize on their behalf. Look at this carefree attitude. A comment appeared. I was going to accept but hesitated and decided not to. Someone said. You are a good person. Someone wondered. Am I trash? A malicious comment. Yeah, I will take it as long as it is not me. Another comment repeatedly said. Sorry. Egostick hesitated for a moment then asked. We have clearly heard Mr. Young Jin's statement of strong faith in the character of Koreans. Anything else you would like to say? Young Jin innocently replied. Go Korea, I believe in you. Meanwhile, Stardust stood far away, looking toward the bridge, lips pressed together as she silently asked. What are you plotting, Egoistic? Egoistic now walked to another car. He inwardly complained. This is exhausting. Can't anyone react normally? He stood in front of another car window and slowly began. A loud scream erupted from inside the car. The girls inside bombarded him with questions. You are Egoistic. Crazy, the sky looks beautiful. He is seriously hot in person. We are not dying here today, right? Exactly. We are your fans. They continued, but you are not actually going to kill us, right? You always spare people. Remember the plane crash incident? Right. Egoistic was so shocked he froze, inwardly groaning. This is a mess. He quickly pulled down his hat and said loudly. Then I will end the interview here. Gotta run. The girls shouted to stop him. Wait a sec, you are too impatient. One pulled out a tablet, grabbed his sleeve, and said. Sign this before you go. Egoistic immediately took it and signed. The girl in the car said. Let me take 4 photos. A comment laughed. He is fulfilling every request, that is rich. Someone else said. Who is the real victim here? One girl in the car rambled. And I already got 100,000 won. Thanks. Another said. Got 400,000 won. Awesome, spicy hot pot tonight. If we die here, we can't eat it. Right. Egoistic silently vowed. No more interviewing civilians. This terror attack is doomed. A moment later, Egoistic asked Seo-eun. Can you turn on the screen? She immediately replied. Yes. The live stream displayed the desolate state of the bridge. Lights turned on, and Egoistic was surrounded by a ring of cameras. He bowed and said. Yes, everyone, it is 7:00 p.m. Right. He smiled and declared. The nationwide 100,000 won and Seoul University Bridge terror attack has ended. Allow me to announce the results. The comment screen immediately jumped non-stop. Let us go, let us go. 500,000 is not hard. Don't disappoint Young Jin. Young Jin, sorry. Damn it, if Seoul University Bridge collapses, how am I supposed to get to work? The numbers changed frantically. To build suspense, Egoistic kept interrupting. As a result, fireworks instantly shot into the sky all around, creating a stunning scene. Egoistic cheerfully shouted, Fantastic, we Koreans are amazing. The people on the bridge panicked. What the? Egoistic snapped his fingers and laughed loudly. Selfish ones, enjoy the final fireworks show just for you. The bombs attached to the bridge exploded immediately. Stardust gritted her teeth and cursed inwardly. That guy, in the end. Amid the sound of the bombs, Egoistic bowed politely and said. Until now, I have been Egoistic. Viewers on the stream instantly regretted it. Is that blood? They're dead. Egoistic put his hat back on, sighing and muttering. Floating in the air for too long is killing me. I have really reached my limit. He stood still and whispered. In the end, just watch them be saved. Stardust quickly flew toward a car about to fall. She reached out toward it. Egoistic froze. What, did she catch me? He raised his hand. Mana instantly gathered into a sphere on his palm. Egoistic angrily shouted. Damn it. Stardust also rushed in. The car was falling. Both Stardust and Egoistic tried to lift the car. Stardust pulled 2 cars back with her hands. Egoistic, after assisting her, panted and muttered. I am out of strength. He suddenly felt dizzy. Egoistic fell through the air. As he was about to hit the water, a spatial vortex appeared and swallowed him. Egoistic had teleported back to base. Lee Subin rushed over in panic. The genius girl cried out in alarm. No, Kim Dane. Blood poured continuously from Kim Dane's nose and mouth. His eyes gradually lost focus. Han Seo-eun and Lee Subin stood outside the glass chamber. Han Seo-eun sadly begged. Open your eyes, big brother. Shin Haru stood outside. The girl bowed her head, hugging her own arm. Han Seo-eun looked at him lying motionless. Please. Hale stood silently outside the room. She looked up, took a deep breath. Hale rubbed her eyes with her fingertips. Elsewhere, Shin Haru stood on the balcony. She thought silently. Egoistic. Shin Haru took out the newspaper. On it were articles all related to Egoistic and Stardust. Egoistic sends Stardust, Stardust's speech from the observation deck, Ice Cream Festival terror. Attack. She recalled Egoistic's words. Don't even think about revealing your face and stepping out. The moment you do, your life will become hell. Shin Haru remembered how Stardust had stopped Egoistic's plane terror attack. Even back then, if he had not given me courage. She frowned and thought. I definitely would not have dared to act. That voice made me believe I could do it. Shin Haru silently said, "You seem to know everything about me." She recalled Egoistic's encouragement. "You can do it." So she sighed and muttered, "Go save them." Shin Haru recalled the moments she had seen Egoistic and kept asking herself. A guy who creates terrorism himself, have not seen him in so long. I have so much to say. Are you really a villain, really a murderer? Shin Haru clenched her fists, bowed her head, and thought. What exactly is your true nature, Egoistic? But because of an unclear emotion, she remembered staring at Egoistic and ultimately being unable to say anything. And while she was rushing toward the car falling into the river, she silently prayed. Please. Stardust gritted her teeth and thought. Touch it. The car was enveloped in pale purple light. Stardust immediately noticed the speed decreasing. She turned to look at Egoistic. Stardust saw him using his power and then falling. After rescuing the civilians, Stardust looked toward the river. Meanwhile, the fangirls cursed. I really want to kill him. That evil bastard. On the bridge, only rubble and smoke remained. The river surface was calm. Stardust was worried and silent. Shin Haru clutched the newspaper tightly, thinking this far, and asked herself, then is Egoistic really? At that moment, a voice rang out. Why are you moping alone? This was another zero-casualty terror attack. A light blue-haired girl brought 2 cans of beer, walked toward Shin Haru, and asked, My little beauty, Shin Haru. The person approaching was Lee Sol-ah, a class hero icicle. Shin Haru immediately said cheerfully, Sol-ah, thanks for coming. Sol-ah instantly hugged her and replied, What is this? Of course I had to come. Shin Haru smiled, cheeks slightly flushed. The 2 cans of beer were opened, and they quickly clinked them together. Sol-ah chugged more than half the can in one go and laughed loudly. Awesome. Gazing at the night sky with Shin Haru and enjoying this ordinary peace, she paused, her gaze drifting sideways. Sol-ah sighed and asked, What is up, Shin Haru? You are off work but still working, Egoistic again, that jerk. Shin Haru nodded. Sol-ah comforted her. Stop worrying. Mach-chun even said the crime rate dropped and seemed thrilled about it. Honestly, I did not dare say it outright, but in this terror attack, he did not seem like he wanted to hurt you. Shin Haru suddenly asked, But hey, Sol-ah, can I say something? She continued. In my opinion, maybe Egoistic is not entirely a bad guy. Elsewhere, Hale walked along and saw Han Seo-eun exhausted and asleep on the floor. Hale took a blanket and covered her. The girl silently headed toward the emergency room. Hale opened the door and stepped inside. She looked at Kim Dane still lying in the treatment chamber. She approached the side of the chamber and wondered whether she should step up and help. Even though he seemed like a good person, what if he changed like those who once craved her power? Hale pondered. What should I do? At that moment, Kim Dane suddenly curled up in pain. The girl thought tearfully. This person saved both Cha Yoon and me without knowing anything. He treated us kindly without asking for anything, and now he is dying right in front of me. Kim Dane gasped in pain. A tear fell onto the glass. The girl questioned herself. Am I going to let him die like this? Hale muttered. I am sorry, Kim Dane. I do not have the courage. She whispered. You are really a good person, but if you knew about my power, I am scared. Scared you will become like them. Hale wiped the tears from her face with her arm. She took a step back. Hale raised her hand. A pale green light flashed. She said resolutely. But I will try to be brave once. The wound on Kim Dane's stomach gradually healed. When the wound closed and the bleeding stopped, the pale green light ceased. Kim Dane's breathing also gradually stabilized. Afterward, Hale left the room. Before exiting, she turned and said, Thank you. Hale quickly walked away. Inside the glass chamber, Kim Dane placed a hand on his stomach and thought. Finally recruited a healer. The glass opened. Kim Dane sat up and called softly. Hail. He smiled and said. Thank you. Elsewhere, Seol Ah and Shin Haru had finished 4 cans of beer. Seol Ah spoke. So let us summarize. She continued. Egoistic's terror attacks are strange because there are no casualties. Except for villains from the mysterious call during the plane terror attack to saving the falling car this time. Right. Shin Haru nodded with sparkling eyes. Seol Ah teased with a laugh. Good heavens, Shin Haru, you believe that conspiracy theory that Egoistic is the ultimate wave-level hero Apple Mango, is that really you? You are a class hero Stardust, that Shin Haru. Shin Haru inwardly blamed herself. I dug my own grave. She turned away and said angrily. It is not about believing or not, I am saying it because I feel it is not just a conspiracy. Seol Ah kept teasing. Tell me your active Mango Stick fan club account name. I do not have one. Just kidding. Don't be mad, little Shin Haru. Shin Haru glanced at Seol Ah, cleared her throat, and said. Anyway. She asked. There are a few unclear points, but he does bad things very professionally. Right. Shin Haru hesitated. That is true too. Seol Ah pressed. Good grief, then what is the problem? Just treat him as a villain. Shin Haru. Shin Haru bowed her head sadly and thought. To me, Egoistic seems to be looking much further ahead. I do not know what it is, but. Seol Ah said again. Workaholic Shin Haru, stop talking about that weird hat-wearing villain. Anyone catch your eye lately? When you rest, you should date. Shin Haru immediately countered. What do you know about dating? Seol Ah was actually the heir to a large corporation. She blushed and said. My family controls my private life super strictly. It is not that I can't meet people, I just have not wanted to. Shin Haru teased her. Seol Ah, your face is all red. So cute. Seol Ah instantly replied. It is not. Really. At a large prison, a black car stopped at the gate. An elderly man stepped out. He was Kim Son-woo, S-class villain and technical advisor to the Han-un Corporation. A white-haired doctor smiled and greeted him. You have had a hard time, sir. Doctor. Son-woo cut him off. Skip it. How's the progress? The white-haired man reported. Currently at 56%. Progress is very smooth. Expected project completion around September next year. He clicked his tongue. Good grief, too slow. No matter what, all preparations must be completed this winter. The white-haired doctor silently glanced at him. After getting into the car, Son-woo ordered his subordinate. Let us go. He thought to himself, just wait. He told himself. Before this winter passes, everything in Korea will be under drive. Kim Son-woo's feet. At Egoistic's base, the TV reporter announced breaking news. Dr. Kim Son-woo, suspected of concealing unethical experiments, was released at 7:00 a.m. today. Dr. Kim Son-woo is expected to return to the forefront of the Han-un Corporation. Kim Dane propped his chin and watched TV, smiling as he said. All right. Players, take the field. Han Seo-eun passed by and exclaimed. Good grief, what are you saying? 3 months later, a snowstorm blanketed the entire city. Cha Yoon wrapped himself tightly in a thick coat, ran out to the yard, and shouted joyfully. Snow's falling so much, it is awesome. Come back here. Han Seo-eun chased after him, yelling loudly. Hey, I got here first. Lee Subin and Hale walked over to a table. Lee Subin sipped a hot cocoa and smiled, asking. This feels nice, does not it? Hale replied. Yeah, it is really great. Kim Dane approached and called out. Hey Seo-eun, can you walk properly? What is with those steps? You are ruining the snow layer. Brother Luyen Twayan, earlier the snow was still beautiful, untouched and pristine. A snowball smashed straight into his face. Han Seo-eun shouted. Let the game begin. Han Seo-eun and Cha Yoon teased him. Come on, Mango Stick. Get in here. Kim Dane silently raised his hand. 2 snowballs hit both of them square in the face. Kim Dane raised his hand again, then gritted his teeth and declared. You little brats, come at me. I will show you what manners are. Special skill, super speed freeze. Han Seo-eun shrieked in shock. What the heck, hey, that is cheating, mango stick. Cha Yun also protested. Blatant rule breaking. The boy raised both hands high and declared, I surrender. I give up. Han Seo-eun stared at him in astonishment. Kim Dane responded. Accepted. Cha Yun laughed loudly. Safe. At that moment, Kim Dane suddenly asked Seo-eun, Are you ready? A giant snowball crashed down, turning Han Seo-eun into a snowman. Kim Dane laughed heartily and said, I am starving, let us grab something light to eat. Cha Yun shouted. Roger that. Kim Dane said while eating. So delicious. Chocolate cookies. He and Cha Yun ate and chatted happily, completely forgetting about Han Seo-eun. She walked toward Kim Dane. He looked up while asking Cha Yun, Can you ask Hale to bring a few more? A snowball fist smashed into Kim Dane's head. His face slammed into the table. Han Seo-eun panicked. Mango stick is done for. Was that too hard? The snowball had ice in it. Cha Yun awkwardly asked, You okay? The genius girl now frantically shook him. Bro, we killed Mango Stick. Kim Dane and Hale approached. She glanced at him and said, He is smiling. Way too obvious he is faking. Kim Dane mimicked Han Seo-eun's words. Brother Kim Dane. He covered his face, pretending to be shy. So touching. Seo-eun really cares about me. Han Seo-eun gritted her teeth, face red. She held up a snowball with 2 ice bottles stuck in it and immediately shouted. But it hurts. She roared. Shut up. Then she chased after Kim Dane. He dodged Han Seo-eun while recalling. In the past 3 months, we relaxed and enjoyed winter. I did consider another terror attack, but Stardust is now as strong as she was in her 3rd year in the original timeline, so no need. Kim Dane looked at Hale and thought. The only real change, Hale has started smiling more. Maybe she is finally warming up and opening her heart to us. Little by little, fingers pointed straight at him. Public opinion about me had completely turned. Everyone blamed the Seoul Bridge collapse on Egostick. My reputation tanked. I mean, 1.2 million people took my money, they obviously needed someone to blame. The selfish citizens told themselves. It is Egostick's fault for staging that weird terror attack. Right. How is everything right? They even called us accomplices and sneered. Convenient, huh? Anyway, becoming a villain was my original goal. He pondered. Now just wait for the black disaster to appear. At that moment, Han Seo-eun jumped onto his back and shouted. Got you. Kim Dane fell to the ground but smiled happily and said. You win. But in a flash, Han Seo-eun became a snowman again, and Kim Dane quickly ran off. Lee Subin saw it and laughed loudly. What a tragic scream. Hale said worriedly. You will get hurt if you keep playing like that. Everyone sat back at the tea table and discussed. So hungry. What is for dinner? Played too much. How about bibimbap? Perfect, let us go inside quick, it is freezing out here. Call Son Woo first. Oh right, elsewhere, red warning lights flashed non-stop. The research lab collapsed, staff running chaotically everywhere. Kim Son-woo fell to the ground, frantically shouting. No way, this can't be, damn it, where did everything go? A staff member yelled, Doctor, you have to run now. He immediately objected. Let me go, how can I abandon a lifetime of research? He turned to look at the explosion site. A bizarre creature slowly emerged from the smoke. 2 staff members lifted Son-woo up. One shouted. Please, doctor, we have to run. Son-woo muttered. No way, Behemoth, how can experimental body number 1, just a prototype, have consciousness? The creature named Behemoth opened its massive mouth and roared. At a high-rise building, security staff ran in panic everywhere. A sudden explosion occurred. Stardust quickly rushed inside the building. She flung open a room door and demanded, Mr. President, what is happening? The old man pointed at the screen and shouted, Emergency, Stardust, look. Behemoth had left the lab and started destroying the city. The old man said in terror. Where did that horror come from? Stardust looked up, sharply sensing something, and yelled, Run! Outside, Behemoth began demolishing the building. An unlucky driver was trapped in the rubble it caused. A wall smashed into his car. The driver luckily jumped out in time and cried in panic. My car. Someone loudly advised. What good is the car now? Run. Behemoth continued its frenzied destruction. Buildings collapsed one after another. A man hugged his son, praying in fear. Dear God. Behemoth roared. He shouted in terror. Oh Lord. Stardust announced and rushed out of the room. I am heading out immediately. Uncle Run Ho stopped her. Calm down. Stardust, you can't face something that huge alone. Stardust turned back and retorted. I can't just sit and watch it rampage. Keep sitting there eating popcorn. Mr. President. The old man exclaimed in shock. What? A loud crash made her turn around. On the screen, Behemoth was destroying everything and heading toward Seoul University Bridge. It immediately fell into the river. It slowly sank. The atmosphere in the room instantly quieted. Uncle Run Ho called Stardust. She replied blankly. Uncle's orders, I want a full report on the desk by morning. What popcorn? Stardust hesitated. Sorry. At Egostick's base, he was calmly eating popcorn. The moment Behemoth fell into the river, everyone immediately cheered. Late at night, a house still had its lights on. Shin Haru was sitting at her desk, scrolling through news on the computer screen. Her eyes landed on an article with a shared headline. Are there still fools who think Egostick is a villain? The article explained and argued that free discussion was mandatory reading for those who still considered Egostick a villain. This black disaster creature still possesses a certain level of intelligence, if it fully awakens human consciousness. In short, even if the 3 top American heroes arrived, they would not stand a chance against it. All day they would lose. And if time drags on and it gains more intelligence, it will naturally avoid its weakness, water, and destroy everything in Korea. The conclusion praised Mango Stick. After reading the article, Shin Haru let out a long sigh, munching on a tangerine segment while unable to help thinking. Hard to believe who'd have thought things would turn out like this. In reality, if Egostick had not collapsed the bridge ahead of time, no superhero in Korea could have stopped those monsters. Pondering this dilemma, Shin Haru fell silent, lost in thought. This can't possibly be true. Outside, the sky was dark, only a few streetlights illuminating the way. Shin Haru put on a hat, dressed neatly, and ran through the empty, dark streets, her tied-back hair flowing with her steps. In her mind, she kept reminding herself. He is a villain and I am a hero. Even if he protects me, I will be the one protecting everyone. Shin Haru ran forward with a serious expression. On TV at that moment, the news anchor was updating the latest information. The next report suggests that experiments by a leading Korean corporation, Han-Un Corporation, are the source of the recent black disaster, sparking nationwide speculation. Han-Un Corporation's headquarters collapsed overnight, with no human traces found in the Han-Un building. The screen immediately switched to the Han-Un Corporation to illustrate the scene. The anchor continued reporting. The chairman of Han-Un Corporation, along with Dr. Kim Son-woo, responsible for the black disaster experiment, have disappeared along with their research team. Han Seo-eun, Lee Subin, and Hale were eating dinner while watching the news. Upon hearing this, Kim Dane could not help but sigh. So it ends up like this after all. Hale punched and kicked the air, satisfied as she cursed. Serves those bastards right. Lee Subin, still unsatisfied, flailed her fists and angrily said. Not yet. Han Seo-eun agreed and chimed in aggressively. We have to catch all those who escaped. The Anti-Natural Death Alliance for Han-Un Corporation executives. Kim Dane held plastic chopsticks, waving them lazily. Tell them to relax, do not worry too much, they will turn up soon enough. Then he smiled and asked for their opinion. More importantly, can everyone gather here after eating? Lee Subin looked confused, not understanding what he was planning. Han Seo-eun, still fired up, deflated upon hearing him and suspiciously said. What are you up to now? Every time you say that, I get scared. Looking at the detailed blueprint Kim Dane showed them, all 3 Han Seo-eun, Lee Subin, and Hale gasped in shock and disbelief, shouting. Han-Un Corporation's underground laboratory. After shouting, Lee Subin and Hale fell silent. Only Han Seo-eun went wild, still loudly asking, what is in there? Helplessly looking at her, he asked. What do you mean? He circled B9 in red with a pen and smiled ambiguously. Something completely insane. The ultimate secret weapon created by Han-Un Corporation during their superhuman army experiments. They implanted it into human bodies. That messy round mass of tangled wires is a living entity made from materials that can withstand internal organs and atomic bombs. Since the Black Disaster is Behemoth's prototype, it evolved into the current Earth mutation from it. If perfected, the power would probably. After a long, roundabout explanation, Kim Dane noticed the three's reactions, confused, bewildered, scratching their heads and ears, then shifting to displeasure. He hesitantly asked, Why are you all like this? Han Seo-eun, Lee Subin, and Hale all had stiff, dumbfounded expressions. Han Seo-eun finally spoke, face darkened, voice low as she interrogated. Bro, so that is a superhuman monster army, gonna wreck your body again? 2 more holes in the stomach would look cool. Kim Dane's face turned ashen and helpless, eyes instinctively avoiding hers, saying nothing. Han Seo-eun pressed her advantage, jumping up, pointing at his face, and yelling. Are you messing with me? Kim Dane raised his voice in retort. I want to get stronger too. Hearing this, Han Seo-eun grew even more ferocious, leaping onto the table, pounding him madly, gritting her teeth as she scolded. You want to get even stronger? Kim Dane blocked her punches, no longer daring to speak. Lee Subin could not watch anymore and stood up to stop them. Intervention, both of you, stop. Kim Dane pondered silently. The original story, definitely nothing special about the hero's next move in the original. But every punch from Han Seo-eun aimed at me is easily blocked, making her exclaim in surprise. Still lost in thought, he suspiciously wondered. Yeah, nothing serious is happening, right? Early morning, clear skies with white clouds, at a high-rise corporate building. The assistant stood on the podium reporting the latest situation. Multiple biological signs detected in the buried underground lab. It seems the creatures and Han-eun researchers were experimenting on are still alive. Uncle Jun-ho sat upright listening and curiously asked. Internal organs. Jia Hai-un attended the meeting online and also reported. I tried approaching last night, but my shadow could not reach it, blocked by the black wave it emits. After hearing this, Uncle Run-ho asked Stardust. You heard, support will be difficult, you still going? Stardust, floating in mid-air, observed the massive crater below, adjusted her earpiece, and decisively replied. Yes. Uncle Run-ho's voice came through with instructions. Good. I approved the mission to explore Han-eun Corporation's underground base. Stardust accepted the mission and flew straight into the massive crater, unaware that Egoistic was watching her from a nearby building's rooftop. Egoistic tensely voiced his feelings. This makes me a bit worried, it is not quite according to plan. Han Seo-eun on the other end heard this and mockingly shouted. If you are scared, you can turn back right now. Lee Subin, beside her, feared an argument and mediated. Seo-eun, do not provoke him like that. Egoistic did not take the bait, brimming with confidence as he boasted. Man, it is like I am afraid of some monsters. Han Seo-eun, typing on the keyboard, could not help but openly sneer. Lee Subin was helpless with the two but ultimately smiled sincerely and reminded him. Be careful. Egoistic used magic to transform. Their livestream began. He first introduced himself. Nice to meet you all. I am Egoistic. Then he created a curiosity-inducing effect to draw viewers in before leading into the main topic. Is this terrorism? What is happening today? You are all curious, right? Unfortunately, today is not terrorism, it is exploration. The live chat currently had 10,000 viewers. The stream started 1 minute ago. In the comments, netizens argued loudly. What is this? Oh, this is SP Class Hero Mango's stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Explain Soul Bridge if you knew it would be destroyed like that. Where are you? Why is it so dark? What crazy thing are you doing today? As the camera panned to the surrounding machinery, Egoistic spoke in a playful tone. This is Han-eun Corporation's underground base, the very place that created that horrific disaster. What did they do here? I am so curious, I can't stand it. Shall we go check it out? At headquarters, Uncle Run-ho yelled for Stardust. Stardust, can you hear me? The assistant beside him advised. It seems she has gone too deep, radio signals can't reach anymore. Uncle Run-ho fumed, slamming his fist on the table. Egoistic thought, who does he think he is barging in there, but grumbled and ordered. Assistant, get me some popcorn. The assistant replied yes and stood up to leave. On the other side, Egoistic pointed the camera, panning across the machinery, saying sarcastically. Everyone, look what did those bastards do here. Egostick looked around playfully. Viewers through the screen commented and debated, some exclaiming, "You are curious, the atmosphere is seriously creepy. There is nothing here. Right, where did everything from before go? Be careful, Mangostick." The camera moved through every nook and cranny. Egostick half-jokingly said, "Could I, the one who once shook all of Korea, be scared by tiny experiment traces like this?" Suddenly hearing a noise, he turned on the light, warily raising several defensive guns. He suddenly spotted a white cat and involuntarily shouted, "What?" Egostick vaguely wondered. "Just a cat, right?" Then he immediately heightened his guard, suspiciously thinking, "But why is there a cat here?" The cat suddenly collapsed. Red wires wrapped around it, and it backed into a corner. Egostick froze in confusion. The cat's eyes glowed red, standing on the pile of red wires, staring at him and meowing. Hearing another noise behind him, he turned around. A ghostly monster appeared, charging at him aggressively, extending claws. Egostick was terrified, unable to scream, face turning pale. Stardust, deeper in the darker tunnel, suddenly heard gunfire. She immediately stopped, turned sharply, and thought, "Gunshots." Stardust's expression hardened. Whatever was happening up there, it was not part of the mission plan. The scene shifted back to the protagonist's perspective. By now, he regretted every stupid decision that had led him here. As he fled, his thoughts spiraled in panic. "I should not have crawled into this place. I should have listened to Seo-eun. Strong my ass. I should have stayed home practicing remote object manipulation." Behind him, the grotesque monster with its massive face stayed hot on his heels. Egostick frantically controlled the floating guns around him, firing wildly while sprinting for his life. But that only heightened his terror. Stomping hard, he muttered through gritted teeth, "No, regretting now won't help. At this point, I have to catch Behemoth before escaping." The very next second, true to his overdramatic villain nature, he slipped. His body lurched forward, rolling several times across the floor before stopping in pain. His face contorted as he groaned, glancing quickly behind. As expected, the monster had seized the opportunity and closed the gap. Drool dripped from its gaping maw as it loomed over him, ready to swallow its prey whole. Out of options, Egostick gathered all the floating guns and unleashed a barrage. Countless bullets tore into the creature's massive body, ripping bloody holes in its flesh. But at that size, the wounds were mere scratches. Instead of collapsing, the beast only grew more enraged. It let out a deafening roar that shook the entire underground facility until the place crumbled in a cloud of dust. By some idiotic stroke of luck or divine comedy, Egostick survived, crawling out from the rubble soaked in mud and in agony. He muttered, "How deep is this place?" In the chaos, I lost both the camera and the guns. "Great," he said loudly, trying to contact via radio. "Seo-eun, can you hear me?" Silence. No response. A creeping fear began twisting his insides. The signal probably could not reach this depth. "I am actually starting to get scared now." "Just a little," he admitted, wearily scanning the wreckage. But before he could gather his thoughts, a sudden shockwave rattled the left wall. A fist punched through the concrete, leaving a deep crater. Emerging was a familiar figure, Stardust. Her enhanced senses sharpened as she narrowed her eyes, scanning the dusty room. This energy. Familiar. "Don't tell me it is Egostick," she muttered. Her gaze locked onto him, confirming. She immediately assumed a fighting stance, voice sharp. "What are you doing here?" As for Egostick, he froze, panic flooding his mind, hands flailing slightly as he stammered. "Wait, Stardust, I am the one who should be asking that. What are you doing here?" Cracking her knuckles, Stardust replied coldly. "I am a hero. Cleaning up places like this is nothing unusual for me, right?" Her words left him speechless. "Right. Yeah, makes sense," he mumbled, nodding weakly. That was all the confirmation she needed. A slow, confident smile spread across her face as she stood tall. Perfect timing. "Looks like I found an unexpected bonus target." Her eyes flashed dangerously. "If you come quietly, it won't hurt." The moment she finished speaking, Stardust lunged, reaching to grab him. Egostick nearly used instant teleportation to dodge. And so, the two began an endless chase in the cramped underground space. Worse still, Egostick's evasions only succeeded by hair's breadth. Each time Stardust attacked, her strikes missed him by mere inches. Finally, panting, he raised his hands in desperation to buy time. Wait. Stop. I know you see me as just a villain. But look around. You know as well as I do this place is dangerous. You do not even know what this facility really is. Right, so why not a temporary truce until we reach the lower levels? He proposed hurriedly, hoping she would at least listen. Stardust paused for 3 seconds, brows furrowed. Instead of answering, she fired back. Then why do not you tell me what you are doing here first? Egoistic shrugged helplessly, trying to appear calm despite sweat pouring down his face. Let us just say curiosity. The people who worked here created the Black Disaster. I thought they might have made something even worse. She observed him silently, assessing whether he was telling the truth. After a few seconds, she finally nodded slightly. Fine, acceptable. Temporary cooperation. Follow me. I am already having trouble with the monsters anyway. You can lend a hand. With that, she turned and walked away. Egoistic blinked, surprised at how easily she agreed. Huh, I just threw that out there. How did it turn into this, he muttered. Meanwhile, Stardust's inner thoughts told a different story. If I try to take him by force, he will probably escape again. Better to keep him close and watch. Maybe this way I will understand what Egoistic is thinking. Time passed quickly. The two were now rummaging through documents in an abandoned research room. Instead of focusing, Egoistic kept glancing around suspiciously, scanning every corner. His constant restlessness finally irritated Stardust. She punched the wall right next to him, leaving a deep dent, and snapped. What the hell are you muttering about, villain, for? You're testing my patience. This place is full of secrets. Get lost before I crush you. Seeing her terrifying gaze like a lion about to pounce, Egoistic immediately straightened up. Yes, madam. Leaving right now. God, you are scary. He shouted dramatically. But when he turned back to look at her focused, serious, and radiant, even in the dim light, a flush crept up his cheeks. Working together like this. I could get used to it, he thought, grinning foolishly. A while later, finding no useful clues, the two decided to move on. Following her, Egoistic could not help but be impressed. She navigates this place so easily. Don't tell me her super senses have evolved to this level. Setting that aside, they finally reached a room labeled Superpower Suppression Chamber. The suspicious name made Stardust hesitate to enter. Instead, she turned and gave a firm order. Hey, Egoistic, you go in first. Egoistic froze in place, voice rising in panic. Me, you want me to go in there? Stardust did not bother arguing. She simply raised her clenched fist and cracked her knuckles. A silent but terrifying threat. Seeing this, Egoistic immediately relented. Of course, I will go in. Of course I will go in, he said with a strained smile. Though his thoughts told a different story. She is totally treating me like a lab rat. Reluctantly, he pushed the door and stepped inside. To test the room's effect, he removed his hat, tossed it into the air, and tried to manipulate it. Nothing happened. He frowned, concentrating harder, closing his eyes to attempt teleportation. Still nothing. It really does not work, he muttered. From outside, Stardust's voice came through, slightly dark and suspicious. Really? Egoistic did not get a chance to respond. While examining the wall, a loud explosion erupted behind him. Startled, he spun around to see Stardust standing before a cracked wall. Her fist was still raised halfway. Debris fell around her. I just wanted to check if it really neutralizes powers, she said calmly, brushing dust off her gloves. Turns out it does. I was not lying about that. Egoistic stared at her wide-eyed, half in awe, half in fear. She broke the wall with pure strength. So cool. But wait, what if the whole place collapses? Still, deep down, he could not help but admire. Her raw power has increased to this level. Truly terrifying. Before he could think further, a piercing alarm suddenly blared throughout the chamber. Red warning lights began flashing on the walls. The atmosphere instantly tensed. Both froze. The same realization hit them. We are locked in a sealed chamber. No superpowers. Just one hero and one villain alone together. No way. This can't be happening. Stardust was trying her best to break the emergency exit door. Her entire body emitted a brilliant red glow, but the door did not budge an inch. Kim Dane told Stardust that trying to force the door was pointless because it was designed to open automatically after about 3 hours, and he showed her the countdown timer displaying 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 41 seconds. Kim Dane continued, saying that this heavily guarded door would open in 3 hours and advised her not to waste her energy in vain so they could leave together when it opened. Stardust looked surprised and annoyed as she stood in the dark space surrounded by strange beams of light. Blood was flowing from Stardust's hand. It seemed she had injured herself while trying to break the door. Kim Dane, quietly observing, also noticed the wound. Kim Dane slowly stood up and continued to persuade Stardust not to be reckless, saying that she was not even in a condition to use her powers. Stardust stood there, eyes resolute, fists clenched, watching Kim Dane's movements. Kim Dane stood straight, reached out toward Stardust, and said, "Give me your hand." Stardust looked at Kim Dane in surprise, eyes wide with astonishment and suspicion as he kept his hand extended. Kim Dane carefully held Stardust's hand, now neatly bandaged, with blood still seeping through the white gauze. Stardust stared at Kim Dane, her deep blue eyes wide open, an indescribable surprise and complex thoughts surging about his actions. Stardust turned her back and said she would not thank Kim Dane. But Kim Dane teased that her words sounded like a thank you. Stardust angrily punched the wall and turned back to scold Kim Dane, prompting him to say, "Oh, yes, I get it. Let us stop here. Be careful with your hand." Kim Dane placed a hand on his hat and let out a soft sigh. Kim Dane sat down on the floor, leaned back against the wall, and said he would lie down for a bit. Stardust looked at him in astonishment. Kim Dane stretched out on the floor, saying that there was nothing to do for the next 3 hours anyway, and advised Stardust to rest and take a nap to conserve energy. Stardust looked suspicious and irritated, her face clearly showing wariness. After an hour passed, Stardust sat leaning against the wall while Kim Dane lay there with his eyes wide open, thinking to himself that even though he had said that, how could he possibly sleep like this? Tears rolled down Kim Dane's face as he thought he could not let his guard down for even a second because the situation was extremely dangerous. Kim Dane turned his face inward, thinking he was like a rat in a jar, and Stardust, stronger than most adult men even without her powers, prevented him from fully relaxing his vigilance. At that moment, Stardust also turned to look, and their eyes met. Seeing this, Stardust felt slightly embarrassed and looked away. Kim Dane seemed to have caught that cute moment of Stardust. He lightly tugged at his clothes and smiled contentedly. 2 hours later, the situation worsened as Stardust began struggling to breathe due to the decreasing oxygen. Kim Dane also looked exhausted and said that this time he was truly drained. Kim Dane watched Stardust struggling to breathe. Then suddenly, Stardust spoke up, mentioning the soul bridge. Kim Dane turned back with a surprised expression, seemingly not understanding Stardust's intent. Stardust, panting, asked Kim Dane about the car accident, whether he was the one who did it. Kim Dane stared at Stardust, eyes wide in shock, inwardly doubting, she has figured it out. Kim Dane recalled his hands enveloping MANHWA, trying to hold the car that was falling into the sea during the Soul Bridge incident. Stardust, still weak, repeated the car accident and pressed, "I am asking, you stopped it, did not you?" Then she awkwardly sneered. "What, me, a villain? How would I know how to stop it? I only ever move forward." Stardust glared at him angrily, thinking he was talking nonsense. Stardust stared at Kim Dane with determination, asking about the plane crash and demanding why he told her to save it. Kim Dane's face showed clear horror, eyes wide and darting as if searching for an excuse to cover up. After thinking for a moment, Kim Dane began to explain, "I told you. I am the villain, and you are the hero. Your existence makes me more complete. That is the kind of relationship we have." Inside, Kim Dane wondered to himself, "Wait, why is she like this?" Finally, with sweat beading on his face, Kim Dane concluded, "Isn't it strange for a hero to go save people?" Kim Dane sat on the floor, still trying to explain while Stardust curled up, her face full of discomfort. Kim Dane thought to himself that he had overreacted out of embarrassment and quickly told himself it was just due to lack of oxygen. Stardust lowered her head, eyes cold, reasoning that then he must be the one who collapsed the soul bridge. Stardust continued, asking Kim Dane if he knew in advance about the monster's appearance and that it would head to the soul bridge to do that. Kim Dane forced a smile, mocking Stardust for believing in absurd conspiracy theories online. Kim Dane continued to reason that he was a bit surprised too. but it was clearly just a coincidence. Kim Dane looked at Stardust's resolute expression, thinking, is she really testing me? Kim Dane looked confused, wondering if he had missed something. A horrifying image flashed. The Maple Bridge destroyed in a sea of fire and smoke. Next was an image of a plane in distress plummeting from the sky. And then an image of a massive black monster lurking like a catastrophe. A dark calamity. Kim Dane thought to himself, Stardust does not believe in silly conspiracy theories. She is suspecting whether I am the villain. Looking into Stardust's suspicious eyes, Kim Dane realized this stemmed from her interactions with him. The suspicion naturally arose from past terrorist incidents. In other words, a hero's intuition. Kim Dane stopped himself, thinking that if he explained clumsily, Stardust would only suspect him more, and he chuckled softly. Stardust maintained her suspicious expression and wondered. While Kim Dane thought the only way to get out of this was to charge straight into confrontation, Kim Dane burst into manic laughter, saying, that is right, I knew everything. I knew the monster was coming, so I took it down first. Stardust sat there completely shocked. Kim Dane's imagination skill was a secret move like ego. Kim Dane continued, then in that moment, Stardust's expression darkened. Kim Dane smirked, challenging Stardust. So what are you going to do? He thought this strategy could be summed up as, so what, which sounded reasonable. Stardust leaned back, wondering how Kim Dane knew, whether he could predict the future. And then he pointed at himself and said bluntly, hack. Kim Dane stood in a dramatic pose, surrounded by glowing red lines of code, eyes blazing, boasting that as Korea's top hacker, knowing some classified information was nothing unusual, he thought inwardly. Prophecy, what, too naive? Stardust still looked suspicious and said, it is still weird. Kim Dane kept his sly smile, eyes glowing red in response. What is still weird, Miss Stardust? Stardust glared angrily at Kim Dane, demanding why he prevented civilian casualties when he was supposed to be a villain like that. Kim Dane, panic on his face, explained that he hated having his spotlight stolen. He timed the monster's appearance and stopped it because if civilian casualties were too high, no one would pay attention to him anymore. It was all to draw attention and serve his own performance. Kim Dane sweated, eyes darting, forced a smile, and said that as long as it did not completely spiral out of control, he did not care whether civilians lived or died because it had nothing to do with him. Stardust turned away without speaking. The room fell silent. Kim Dane, looking slightly flustered, tried to emphasize his point, asking Stardust if she understood, his own heavy breathing still audible. Suddenly, Kim Dane kept his sly smile, eyes glowing red. Stardust sprang up, causing him to instinctively flinch. Kim Dane looked straight at Stardust, eyes serious and thoughtful, unsure what she was about to do. Stardust glared at him for a long time without speaking, making Kim Dane slightly anxious and sweating. Her face darkened, deep blue eyes wide open. Kim Dane carefully watched Stardust, waiting to see her next move.